Good afternoon. 10 minutes early, well, an hour and 10 minutes early, really. I decided to do it a little bit early because it gets dark at 6 o'clock, so it's only 2 hours. And sometimes my live streams go on for 3 hours. So I have to set up all the lights, and I was getting bitten by the mosquitoes and bugs type of thing. So I thought I'd set it up a little bit earlier today. So let's see how it works. So first, hang on, is me little green lights are working. Farang Travels, hi Les. You're number one. You're the first one to join. Is the sound okay and the picture okay? Hope so. So just let me know in the comments if everything is working okay. Thanks very much for being the first. Number two, we've got 2 people in now. Frank Travels, all good. That's what I like to hear. Got me coffee also. I'm a great coffee drinker, so away I go. So yeah, 10 minutes early. I like to set everything up, make sure everything's working, because you know what it's like. All the best things that I've set it up on YouTube to start at 3 o'clock, but I've never really started on time because just in case something goes wrong, then you could be 10 or 15 minutes setting everything up as well. But it's nice to see that everything's working. Good afternoon, Les, Andy. Good afternoon. From sunny England or a cold England in November. I would imagine it'd be a little bit on the chilly side now in England at the minute, November. I got to say it's quite warm here today. You might hear a little bit of rumbling of thunder in the background because there's a bit of a thunderstorm going on. It's quite a way away from here, but sometimes I can hear the thunder rumbling in the background. So I'll just check to see that my messages are working. Yeah, good. Everything's working. Because I'm sure I'll be sending a few emails out for people wanting various information and that. But there's a lot to get through today. And a lot of things have been happening over the past 2 weeks. But I'll just chit-chat really just to start. We've got 10 people in the house up to now, so away we go. Oh, back down to 9. Somebody's popped in and popped back out. Yeah, so lots of things have been happening over the past couple of weeks or so. And with regard to being to Bangkok, I've been to Hua Hin, and we're going to a holiday resort tomorrow, just local to us. There's a group of friends going there, and we're just going to have a bit of fun, just a wind down day. It's a resort, so we can just stay there, swimming pool, have a few beers, have a bit of a chit chat, and just watch the world go by, if you like. So it's a good thing. Retirement, I don't know how people manage the time to work as well, because every day this week and almost every day next week, it's fully booked, and I've got things to do. Some of the things I'm not looking forward to, which I'll come to that a little bit later on in the live stream, but I have a fear of this, and I'm not looking forward to going, but I have to go. Been here 5 days now, not going back to the UK. Oh, good. Oh, well, at least you got the nice weather. It's my sentiments exactly that with regard to not going back to the UK. I've got my sister there. She's sort of the only family left that I've got in the UK. So I just wouldn't want to go back to the UK. I'm not a fan of the UK. I've been out of the UK now for coming up to, 14 years now. And I've sort of enjoyed every moment I've been outside of the UK. And you go back to the UK, and at present, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the country. There's no happy news, is there, coming out of the country at the minute? And that's sad to see, because I lived in the UK until I was the age of 50, and then I moved out. So I just think it's but then that's getting into politics, and I don't really particularly want to get into politics, but you've got to look at certain things when you retire, because these are your golden years after you've been working all your life. You've got to enjoy your retirement. And for me, the retirement wasn't going to be in the UK. I always had a mind to leave the UK. So no matter where I lived, I was going to build a house in France. So that was one of my dreams that I was going to do. I like traveling the world, traveling around Europe. I love my caravan. I could have lived in my caravan for the rest of my life. But here I am in Thailand. I've been in Thailand now for 12 years. I sort of discovered it when I was 42, and it was always in the back of my mind, if everything went P-tong, I'd go live in Thailand. And here I am. Good morning, Les from Cornwall, West Country. From the Eden Project. I've been into the Eden Project. It was very, very impressive. We've got the similar thing over here in Mattaput. You might have seen it with the tulips in Mattaput. And the temperature there is 15, whereas the Eden Project, they keep the temperatures up. Over here, they do it the opposite. So 15. And there was a nice coffee shop inside there as well. So it was nice to sit down in a massive air conditioning environment, which was beautiful, and have a nice cup of coffee. Biggest issues I have, Les, is having issues sending money over. Well, the money, I would suggest TransferWise, or Wise as it's called now. I've used Wise now for the past 10 years and I've never really had any problem with it. Hi, Les, just watch your Bangkok video, good stuff. Yeah, I'm sort of behind with my videos. This was done about a month ago because we went to Bangkok to look at some motorhomes, some camper vans, or old vans or commercial vans that have been turned into camper vans. And that was great. For those, I like the van life people. I met quite a few van life people, and I like the whole scenario of it. So I went down to Bangkok to have a look at the camper vans, and I was very impressed. But for me, when I think of it, hotels here, you can get hotel accommodation for a nice room, okay, a manageable room. I wouldn't say nice. I would say it's okay, but it's got a big bed, it's got air conditioning for 500 to 1,000 baht. Once you get to 1,000 baht, for me, that's sort of the sweet spot, and you get a nice room. The Bangkok room that I stayed in, I think that was about 11 or 1,200 baht a night, which was super cheap when you think of it, in the middle of Bangkok. So we are going to travel around Thailand in 2 years' time when I get my state pension. My state pension kicks in, and I'll be picking up about maybe £500 or £600 a month, and that will be just travel money, just sheer and utter travel. We've got a nice car. We'll go around in the car. We'll stay in places for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and we might just go up north and just travel from one province to the next province to the next. Who knows? But that's what my plans are for my state pension, is to spend it on holidays. I don't want to get too old where I can't spend it and enjoy it. So that was a long-winded answer, wasn't it? I saw some of your property vids. Can you assist with sourcing rental homes out in your area? Yeah, we've still got a couple of rental homes that are available. One for 22,000 baht a month. That's the 3 bedrooms with a swimming pool. That's quite nice. That's 22,000 on a long-term lease, like for a year. But if you want to do less than that, it might be 25. If you do 3 months, it might be 25. And there's another, I think, 2-bedroom house just coming up for around about 10 or 11,000 baht a month. So yeah, just send me an email, and if you send me an email more to the date that you're going to come, then we can have a look around. But in reality, December, we're away for 4 weeks, from about 16th to 17th of December until about the 7th or 8th of January. We're away for 4 weeks, possibly. Yeah, 4 weeks, definitely. Maybe it's 5. So maybe it's in the new year. But I say that they come and go all the time. The 2 nicest ones that have just been rented, basically the second person to see the houses through my YouTube channel, they were snapped up. But she's building a new one, which is supposed to be ready next month. So I'll do another video on that. But beautiful gardens, beautiful location, and it'll be between 12 and 15,000 baht a month. I believe it's a 2-bedroom one, but it's going to be nice because she always does properties very, very nice. Hi, Les. This is the hottest, humid time of the year. No, it isn't. This is the coolest part of the year. So, no, we're just past rainy season. So now this is the winter time of Thailand, but it's still hot. I've got the fan on the side here, just blowing cool air to me. It's cooler on the morning and cooler on the evening, but during the day, it's still very, very, very hot. I was around a friend's house yesterday helping him to do some electrics, and where I was in the sunshine all day. Wow, did that affect me? It's just so damn hot. I take my hat off to the Thai people who work in these conditions all the time. So good to the Thai people. I use Wise. I've had many issues and prices are rising. All right. I've never had any problems with Wise, I've got to say. And again, I've used them for about 10 years. Sometimes it can be there in a matter of seconds, but if it's at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, it might take a day, but it's never been longer than a day before it gets into my account. I've had problems with the Thai immigration officers, and I'll come on to that a little bit later on about they asked me the question why I aren't putting the same amount of money in as I did 6 months ago, even though I only have to show 40,000. And because I'm putting 43,000, which was less than 6 months or so ago, they asked me the question why. They want to know the reason why I'm putting less money in. But as far as getting money over here is concerned, I've never, ever had a problem. But that's just on many of the subjects and topics we're going to talk about today. So, right, we're gone 3 o'clock now. So we've got 47 in the house, 5 thumbs up. Thanks very much for the 47 people who came here early, about an hour earlier. The reason why it's an hour early is because I usually like doing 2.5 to 3 hours, but 3 hours takes us to 6 o'clock, gone 6 o'clock. Almost 7 o'clock here, and it's pitch black and it's dark, and all the mosquitoes and little bugs come out at dusk and dawn. Them are the 2 times that you've sort of got to avoid. An hour at the dusk time and an hour at the dawn time. That's when the little creepy crawlies come out and the little things nibble you. So we're off, going to do another 3 hours, and we'll finish at about 6 o'clock, which is about 11 o'clock your time in the UK. So now that's done and dusted. If anybody's got any questions, put a capital Q at the beginning of it, and I can see that it's a question. And sometimes my answers can be long-winded. So if anybody thinks I've missed their question, please write the question again. Maybe because it scrolls up and I might miss the question whilst I'm answering another question. So I do my best to answer every single question that comes up on here. I spend about an hour every morning, an hour and a half every morning, answering all of the comments and things like that. And just like my last video, well, not my last one. My last one was Bangkok. That was this morning. The one before that about the assisted living home, there was 15,000 views. So you can imagine there's quite a lot of emails and messages, even though I sent the link to Lawrence, who can answer most of the questions. I got a few questions also, but I do my best to answer every single one of them. I certainly read every comment that comes across. And I thank you very much for those people who participate and send me comments. It's much appreciated. It all helps the channel go along as well. So what is the weather right now? It's a little bit overcast. There's a storm in that direction. All the sky is going black. So there's a little bit of rumbling thunder in the background, but it's hot and sticky today. And it's supposed to be sort of the cool season now. And the cool season, we're off up to Ban Rak Thai and Pai and Chiang Mai, where it is a lot cooler. On evening times, about 15. And I look forward to that because it is a change in weather, and it's cool, and I don't mind the cool. Although I tolerate the heat, it's also nice to be cool. I'm sat here with a fan in the background as well, so you might hear a little bit of wind noise on the microphone. But apart from that, I love the warm weather. I never, ever, ever want to feel cold again like I did in the UK 3 years or so ago. and because I was there over the winter period, and I just couldn't get warm at all. I'd sooner sit in front of a fan to keep cool than sit in front of an electric fire or radiator to keep warm. Okie dokie. Give Les an inch and he'll take a mile, or take an hour. Yeah, but I try to give a very descriptive answer when I give it. And sometimes, yeah, the answers are long. I'm not one of these people who give yes, no, or a quick answer. Hey up, Les, how's it going? It's a rare sunny day here in the UK. Not much to do in the allotment, but it's all good to go and get some fresh air. The allotment, a man cave, that's what it is. That's what an allotment is, isn't it? It's a man cave. And it's good to get out and just go sit and watch the vegetables grow. So, yeah, get all them weeds taken out in the allotment. And thanks very much for joining me for a little while. Okay, we got a question here. Question, what is the current exchange rate? When I went to Thailand in 2007, it was 72 baht to the pound. Oh, well, you ain't going to get ever 72 baht to the pound again. At the minute now, it's just hovering around 44. So that's a big difference. I know when I came, I was getting about 60, 65. Everything seemed so cheap. But when Brexit happened, the pound plummeted to 37 at its lowest. So that's the lowest it's ever been. And I did have concerns about how much you were getting to the pound, and everything seemed much more expensive. 44, 45. Okay, I can live with that. I can tolerate that because my salary's gone up now, or my pension's gone up over them number of years. So I'm probably at pre-Brexit level as far as money's concerned. But yeah, 44. Hopefully it'll go back up again. 45, 46. I'm more than happy with that. But 50, it'd be a dream if it ever got to 50 again. So yeah, you just cut your cloth to suit. I can still do well on about £1,400 a month we spend here, and we live quite a good lifestyle on £1,400. What £1,400 would get me in the UK at the present, I don't think it'd get me very much at all. In fact, vast majority of that would be taken up in rent to live in a decent-ish area anyway. Where here, again, on the video that I did with the assisted living house, you could rent that house, a 3-bedroom detached house in Hua Hin, for £647 a month or something like that. That's not a lot, is it? £647 for a 3-bedroom detached house, fully furnished. What could you get in the UK for £647? So, yeah, there we go. Bill Simpson, hello, Les. Coming to Rayong next March, mate, and Koh Samet. I'll email the details. Maybe we can have a cuppa. Exactly, Bill. You've been a follower of the channel for a long time. So, yeah, would be happy to meet up, and we might even have a night out or so in Koh Samet, because it's only 30 minutes from where we live. Koh Samet is a beautiful tropical island, white sandy beaches, beautiful warm seas to swim in. You'll enjoy it. So looking forward to that, Bill. March, yeah, I'll put that in my diary. Andy Shiver, I always remember Sean Connery and why his last Bond movie was called Never Say Never Again. Only weeds growing at this time of year. But the little beasties grow very quickly, don't the weeds, once they get a foothold. I know when I was away for 9 weeks, this hedge behind me really grew because it was rainy season, so it was massively. And I've been back here now for maybe 6 or 7 weeks, and it's just, I was like dreading cutting it because I knew it was going to take a long time, because I have to get the ladders to get to the top of it, and there's about a meter drop on the other side, so I had to get the tall ladders to get up to it. It took me about 4 or 5 hours to cut it, but now it's down. It looks much better, and I'll keep an eye on it now. But same as the grass and the weeds grew. That's why we got gravel all the way around the house. By putting the gravel down, it stops the weeds, and we put that black matting stuff that water can drain through, but the weeds can't come up. But the little buggers, the little weeds, they still manage to get up and come up through the netting. But I've got gravel on there as well. It just helps because the weeds just pull out very, very easily. We haven't got a big garden here, but it still takes, 1 or 2 days a week to keep on top of it, especially during the rainy season. So now the rainy season's finished, the growth will be stunted a little bit because of the dry, warm weather. But hey ho, I cut the grass the other day. Don't have a lawnmower, we use the strimmer. The strimmer cuts brilliant. I love the strimmer. And the strimmers over here are so cheap. Good evening, Les, from New Zealand. Some people told me 8 million baht and 40,000 baht a month pension is not enough to live in Thailand. What do you think? Well, if you've got 8 million baht, you've got enough there. 40,000 baht a month pension. The sweet spot is about 55, 60,000 baht. But if you've got 8 million in savings, well, then you can supplement that, can't you? 40,000 baht a month is sort of on the tight side. If you're living as a single person, you could probably do that. But as a couple, 40,000 is sort of on the tight side, but it's probably still much. You get much more for your money here in Thailand than you would do in New Zealand. I would say 55, 60,000, you'd be okay with that one. Again, nice house. It depends. If you buy your own house, if you've got the money to buy your own house and you could get a nice house for 3 million, that'd save you 12 to 15,000 baht a month anyway. Right. I think for me anyway, Philippines is better retirement destination as the exchange rate is more favorable to the pound. The pound is weak against the baht, but strong against the peso. Yeah, I've got a friend of mine who's just visited from the UK. He spent a little bit of time here and he's going to the Philippines for the winter, for Christmas. And he's looking at whether he's going to retire into the Philippines or whether he's going to retire here in Thailand. And up to now, he seems to think that the infrastructure, the internet, the roads and things like that are far more advanced than the Philippines. But the girls in the Philippines speak far better English than they do over here. So it swings and roundabouts. So he's going to spend a few months here and a few months in the Philippines, and he'll make his mind up. And I've got to say, most of the people that I know that have come to Thailand from the Philippines think the Thailand is much better than the Philippines. The exchange rate might be a little bit better in the Philippines, but hey ho, we're all different, aren't we? So what's good for one might not be good for somebody else. Whereas the Philippines, I've never been to the place, but it's on my bucket list. I'll go there one day. Keep reading how the baht is weakest in Asia, but not happening in practice. Well, we'll turn around and see. But one of the predictions that I heard was that if Trump won the election, the value of the baht will drop. And that's got to be true because we were at 43 before and now we're at 44. Oh, wow. Wow, that's crept up. Huge black cloud. It's just coming around me. So I might have to move my table a little bit when, because this storm's, it's the blackest clouds I've seen for a long time, and the clouds are moving. So you might see a bit of Thai thunder and lightning and see the heavy rain. Hopefully it just passes over. But I've not seen the black clouds come this quick for a long time. Anyway, back onto whatever. Les, how can I stay in Thailand just to see what it's like? Les, how long? You can stay in Thailand for as long as you want, really. At the minute, the visa is a 60-day visa, which you can extend to 30 days. Then you do a border run and you get another 60 days and 30 days. So in reality, you can just on a tourist visa stop more than 6 months. And I think that gives you a good indication as to how good or bad it is here over a 6-month period. Okay, I mentioned to you about I make beer in Chiang Mai You said you like dark beer. You have many variations of Adams. Woo. Wow, I think it's going to be the wind. You can see in the background all the wind, how the wind's picked up. So, yeah, big storm coming. And my wife's out selling sausages today on the beach front, so she might be home a little bit early because she'll be able to see all of this lot coming as well. Yeah, sort of making beers. I used to like me homebrew with me wines and stuff like that. That was good. So yeah, you can stay in Thailand for 6 months, and if you're over 50, you can get a retirement visa, which you can do every year, which is not difficult to do. How the rainy season be for you? Seeing a lot of areas flooded in the news, but here in Chai Pum, first time in 3 years. Oh my goodness. That blew my iPad over. Can you hear that and the thunder in the background? Yeah, the rainy season where I live hasn't been too bad, really. It's been okay. Yeah, Pattaya always floods, Bangkok always floods, but we're surrounded by lakes and it's never really bothered us at all, so we've been okay. And I don't mind. I don't mind a bit of rain. When you've had no rain for 9 months, cloudy skies make it a little bit cooler and you feel okay. And then the rain helps water everything anyway, doesn't it? Right, so what else? Great video as usual, thanks very much. The brew shop in Bangkok has everything delivered to your door. English speaking, very knowledgeable. I think the people from the UK prefer Thailand because of the large expat community there. Well, to be fair, Thailand is diverse. It's got loads of, it's got a bit of everything. And usually people move towards where the other people live. Like here, there's quite a big Swedish community. And there's lots of Swedish people. There's two or three little villages. And basically, they're all Swedish within that village. It's the same with the Americans and the Brits. I mean, here where I live, we have Canadians, we have British, we have Irish, Germans. So we've got a bit of mixture for everything, really. And the people that we're going on holiday with tomorrow, one's a German guy, the other one's an English guy. We're all in our, well, I'm the youngest one at 64, the others at 70 and 72. So, yeah, you just get on with people. You really, really do. November, December is tolerable in the UK. The run up to Christmas, it's January, February that are awful. Yeah, well, I like the buzz of Christmas. I must admit that's one thing about Thailand. Doesn't have that same buzz like it does in the UK. I'll put my Christmassy songs on in December as well because I like my Christmas tunes. It always reminds me at Christmas time. I always like Christmas and New Year. It's fun, exciting, and certainly New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve round the bars in Redcar was okay. Oops. That's the wind picking up again. Les, do you still do the 1-for-1 advice? Yes, I do. Again, what that is I do a WhatsApp talk to somebody, $10 for an hour. Or if it takes 2 or 3 hours, it's same the $10, and you only pay the $10 once you had the chat to me, face-to-face chat. You can ask any questions what you like, and if you don't get the answers that you want, then you don't pay the $10. It's as simple as that. And I've had many one-to-one chats on WhatsApp, and I've saved thousands and thousands of baht for people, sending them in the right direction, if you like, for visas and stuff like that. And because I've lived here for 12 years, I know my way around various things, and there's always a solution to every problem over here. But it's knowing that person that can direct you towards the solution. Lightning going on now in the background. So, yeah, I still do the one-to-one. As I say, I'll put my email address on there. 58 at. So I'll put my email on there. If anybody wants to know, just send me an email, and then we can get things sorted out. Why won't that send? For some reason, Matty. So it's Leslie Pearson 58. Yeah, it's in the comments anyway down below. For some reason, me comments is stuck. Never mind. So yeah, the one-to-one, I've saved loads and loads of people, loads of money, and because information and knowledge is power. So it's brilliant. Brilliant to be able to pass on the information, help people save loads of money as well. Big storm coming, neighbour, very windy, but the sun is still out. No, the sun's gone now, but the black clouds they've turned more grey now than black. But it still might rain. Who knows? Yeah, windy normally a sign of a storm coming. Well, I've seen it all the way around there, and I've never seen it go from one, like 3/4 of the way around, almost 360 degrees. But there's a bit of wind blowing, but they've gone grey now as opposed to jet black like they were. So somebody else is going to get that, and hopefully it's not going to be here. Right. I'll be applying for my retirement visa next month using an agent. Okay, that's good. I mean, agents are good, but you can also do them yourself, and it's not that difficult to do, and you can save yourself a load of money. Now, we say the agent that I send people to charges about 30,000 baht to do the visa and opening a bank account, and there are other people in Pattaya that charge 45 to 50,000 for doing exactly the same. So if you want a visa recommendation, just send me an email and I'll send you the guy's details. As I say, he does it for about 29,000, include opening a bank account. Opening a bank account itself is about 4,500 to 5,000 baht. So, yeah, send me an email and I'll send you the information. Water the plants some distance away from first time in weeks. Don't decide to read it. That's Sod's Law, isn't it? Sod's Law gets everywhere. It's funny how they have all Christmas decoration stuff in the shops, but come the day, nothing happens. Either end renewing visa Christmas Day last year, doing it early this year. So, yeah, I mean, all the DIY shops have got the Christmas decorations in, and as I say, the big shopping malls have got the Christmas decorations in. Central Festival, we were there the other day, and they had a huge teddy bear. I mean, absolutely huge. And you think, well, where did they store that? Because it was just huge. And it wasn't a blow-up one. It was like a big stuffed one. So unless they take all the stuffing out of it and then pack it in, it takes up a big area. So moving on to visas. Oh, hang on. Well, Les, I bought my retirement plans forward by 12 months. Got 22 months to go. 2025 will be my last full calendar year. Okie dokie. Don't join the OMY clubs, 1 more year clubs. Retire as soon as you can for as long as you can. But coming on to visas, this is sort of an interesting story. It'll be interesting to some, but maybe it's not to others. I'm on a marriage visa. Now, I'm going to do a video about this as well anyway, because it's so, for me, I think it's so interesting on how the immigration office sing a different hymn to some other immigration officers. Excuse me a minute. And I was quite shocked and a little bit angry, but you can't show that you're angry in the immigration office, because they have the power of the pen and they can grant anything or take anything away from you. And this story is an interesting story. Now, my marriage visa, was cancelled because I had to leave the country and I wasn't back in Thailand in time to renew my marriage visa, but that's a different story. So I had to apply for a O visa based on marriage from outside of the UK, the Thai embassy in London, and I got that granted, the Thai visa based on marriage. And we went a little bit early, and we were told by the immigration office that we were too early, so we had to come back a month later. So armed with all the paper, and the paperwork is big, it's quite big, and you have to do it in duplicate, so there's a lot of paperwork. And this time she said, no, you don't need that, you don't need that, you don't need that, you don't need that. Where the year before, they wanted it, and they asked for it. So my wife quite cleverly said, okay, can you sign this piece of paper to say that all our paperwork is complete and you don't need any more paperwork? So the woman signed it, said, yeah, all the paperwork satisfactory for the next visit in a month's time. Now we went beginning of this week, and the lady that deals with it, she's never a nice lady anyway to us. I think she's aggressive, argumentative to anybody. And she told my wife that I didn't have all the paperwork. And my wife said, you said we've got all the paperwork. And she was teaching a student on how to do all of the paperwork. And then her boss was watching her. So she said to us that I didn't have all the information. And then the questions that they were asking is before I went back to the UK, I was depositing about 60,000 baht every month. But for the last 2 or 3 months, it's only been 43,000. Well, the last 4 months, it's only been 43,000, because when I was back in England, I wasn't spending any money in Thailand, so I needed the money to spend in England. So that was the reason why I went down to 43. Now, she wanted to ask, she did ask the reason, why are you not putting as much money in? I said, that's nothing to do with you. I said, all my marriage visa needs to show is 40,000 baht. She said, you were putting 63 in, and now you're putting 43. Why? I said, well, that's up to me. I said, I only need to show that I'm getting 43. So then her boss sparked up, and she says, because all my financial transactions that come into the Bangkok bank has got what it asks for is a foreign transfer, which TransferWise does. So she says, where does your money come from? How do you get your money into Thailand? It's through TransferWise. So then she asked for 12 months statement from TransferWise. And I argued, I said, well, all you're going to see is exactly the same amount of money from TransferWise coming into your Bangkok bank. So I said, this is all done with translation, my wife to the Thai immigration office. So then they said, okay, we don't want 12 months paperwork, we just want 1 month. And I said the same thing again. Well, why do you want that? It's because it's just going to show exactly what I'm saying. They said, we want to see it. So that no more arguing, because if they want to see it, they want to see it. And then she says, my paperwork, which I've never, ever seen before, the paperwork for my pension provider, they sent me a letter. It's just a letter every year. This is how much your pension is. This is how much the rise is going to be. This is going to be your monthly. This is how much your yearly income is going to be. And usually they just look at the figures, the yearly amount and the monthly amount, and do the calculations. But this year, she photocopied it, put it on the screen, because she was right behind us and I could see she was looking at the monitor, and then Google translated the whole letter. And then she came back to me and she said, so you were a firefighter? I said, yes, I was. So she said, you work for the government? I said, yes. So she said, why have you got a pension provider that isn't the government? Because the letter was just wrote by our pension administrator, and they were the admin department. So they just sent me a letter, and she said, I want to why you haven't got a government stamp on your letter. I said, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're asking for. So she goes away, comes back with another big lot of paper from an American guy who gets Social Security, and he gets a government letter say the money's from a Social Security with this government stamp on it. And she said, why haven't you got a stamp on your letter? I said, because I'm in England and I'm not getting Social Security. This is my pension from the fire brigade, and you've got 3 lots of paperwork, my tax, my letter, and my pay slip. So I said, you've got all the information that you require. She said, why isn't it got a stamp on it? That's because we don't stamp things like that. It's for information only. So she wasn't happy at that. But anyway, a bit of and ahhing, she said, okay, I want the statements from TransferWise. So when we came back, we've got the visit from the immigration officer who comes to the house next week to check that we're living here. And then we've got to give him the paperwork. And the other thing, and this is it's just bureaucracy gone crazy. We've lived in this house for now 6 years. And so we have a tenancy agreement from our landlady that we renew every year. But this year, she says, "Where's the stamp on the paperwork?" Employee said, "What stamp?" She said, "You need a stamp on the paperwork." Employee said, "We've done this 6 years, and you've seen us every 6 years, and you've never asked for it." She said, "Well, I want a stamp now. There's a stamp needed on this paperwork." So employee said, "Well, where do I get this from?" So she had it rummage around, a bit of paperwork, and she said, "Oh, there you go, 10 baht. 10 baht for a stamp." Photocopies it on the paperwork, and she said, "Okay, that's done. 10 baht." But she made such a fuss and carry on that we didn't have this stamp on the paperwork. 10 baht for a stamp. So now we've got the stamp, and we've got to put it on the paperwork for our lease agreement every year. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, right. Here we go. A question. How many times can you get away with doing visa runs as opposed to getting a retirement visa before you get pulled up at the airport? 2 times. 2 times in a calendar year, you can do that. And by doing the visas, the tourist visa the way they are now, that's almost a year, because you get 60 days plus 30 days. Then you leave the country, come back, 60 days plus 30 days, go back, come back, another 60 days plus 30 days. That takes you just below the year. So then you'd have to leave the country for maybe a month or 6 weeks till that year period lapses again. Then you can do it all the same. Or the DTV visa, which is the new visa that's come out. That's rating now. The DTV visa that's just come out, and you can get up to 5 years with that. But that's 10,000 baht, and you have to jump through a few hoops to be able to get one of them. But it is possible. So, yeah, you don't have to go through the retirement visa. There are many options with visas these days. Education visas, they're cracking down a little bit on the education visas now. So, because if you're doing an education visa based on language, then they only have to ask you a few questions at the immigration office at the airport, and they can find out straight away that you haven't been attending classes. So what I suggest, and there's many other people do it, is go on a Muay Thai visa, so that you're learning Muay Thai boxing. And it's not the type of thing that they can ask you any questions on boxing, is there? But there are ways to do it. But I would say all the time go legally. And if you go legal ways, then you won't fall off any wagon. Get an agent to do it if you want to do it that way. And by getting an agent to do it, he can do it for you every year. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's easy. Many people use agents. And those people who say agents are going to be a thing of the past, rubbish. There's more agents now than there was 12 years ago when I came. The prices have gone up as well, but never mind. Hi, Les, do you know how much a visa to live in Thailand coming from Australia? I'm 74, married to a Thai woman who lives in Australia at present. Yeah, I mean, if you do it all legal with all the paperwork, it's 1,900 baht every year for your visa. But if you use an agent, it can be like between 30 and 60,000 baht. So the way to do that is do it legally, which is not a problem whatsoever. So yeah, 1,900 baht, cheap as chips. Why would anything happen on Christmas Day? You would work on Christmas Day. Also, Thailand is a Buddhist country, so Christmas isn't a big but they still charge the prices for Christmas Day meals and things like that. So yeah, Christmas Day means nothing to the Buddhist country. Done all the photos and paperwork for a marriage visa on Christmas Day, and the immigration officer just ignored it and gave me a retirement visa. Well, there's a big difference between retirement visa and marriage visa. With a retirement visa, if you're on 65,000 baht a month or 800,000, then they can swap it over to retirement visa, because that's what they were going to do to me when I was going back to the UK, switch me over to a retirement visa. But because I wasn't putting 65 in, she couldn't do that. So that's the only reason why because a retirement visa is much, much easier. The immigration officers asked me several times to transfer it over to retirement. She said it's much easier, in out 15 minutes. But I said, no, I'm married. I want the marriage visa. So I think maybe she's a little bit unhappy because we're in the office with her for about half an hour while she goes through all the paperwork. Yeah, bureaucrats wind me up sometimes. It's just frustrating, but they never ask for anything that's impossible. Everything that they ask for is possible to get. It's just time consuming, and you give them all the information that we had last year, then half of it was like, I don't want it this year, I don't want it this year, I don't want it this year, but I want this, I want this, I want this. So now every single piece of paperwork that they ask for, we always photocopy it and we check it with us in a spare bundle of stuff. So if they ask for it, at least we have it. All visa agents are a rip-off, mate, except the case for the new UK passport. I don't think they're a rip-off. They're a service and they help people. Lots of people don't like paperwork. So again, it's like everywhere else, isn't it? If you want something sorted out and somebody's going to do it for you, there's a cost involved with it. But I don't think visa agents are rip-off. They can wave their magic wand and your visa appears. That's why I use it, agent Les. They love stamps here. They do 10 baht for a stamp. She rattled on to my wife for about 10 or 15 minutes of the fact that we didn't have this stamp on the paperwork. And when we found out it was only a 10 baht for the stamp and she had one, so we bought it off her. So now we have one in our drawer that we can put on the paperwork. We haven't done it for 6 years, but now we have to put the stamp on the paperwork. Muay Thai boxing visa. If you rock up looking like a lump of lard, I think now might. Well, yeah. Again, look as if you're sort of fit. But that's the problems that I've had off people who come over here on the education visa, because the education visa can be any age, and but they're over 50s. That then you can qualify for the retirement visa. All right, what else have we got? Hi, Les. Coming over in March, going to Chiang Rai, see my mate Bruce Joseph, then party, celebrate my birthday, March the 17th, at the Mark Bar, and then go up to Bang Saray for a look there. 3 weeks in Thailand. Oh, that'll 3 weeks will go like that, and you'll be assured of a good birthday in party, that's for sure. Can you get permanent residence visa, a green card in Thailand? Yes, you can get a permanent residence. It's not easy to do though, and I've looked into that. But in reality, it's anywhere from 95,000 baht for the application to 150,000 baht. So at the minute, my marriage visa cost me 1,900 baht every year, and I have to jump through a few hoops. So how many 1,900 bahts in 95,000? I'll be long gone before I get the money back. And I'll jump through the few hoops that I have to jump through. And it's not impossible. It's one time a year, and takes maybe 2 weeks to get all the paperwork together, for a little bit of unpleasantness at the immigration office, but nobody likes going to deal with paperwork anyway. So that is the cheapest way to do it. And as with citizenship, as you do in the UK, you've got to be able to speak Thai. There's so many hoops you've got to jump through and pay the 95 to 150,000 baht, and still not totally guaranteed that you're going to get it. So I'll keep doing the 1,900 baht payments every year. There's a big lightning storm. You can't see it, but at the back that way, there's a massive lightning. You might be able to hear the thunder in the background. That's the people who've got all that black cloud that went that direction. sort of brightening up behind us now. So thankfully, all the rain's gone that direction. Kevin Dawson. Unfortunately, some people don't meet their requirements, so they have to choice but to use them and provide a good service. Yeah, again, exactly. There's a price point for everybody here. You don't have to be wealthy to live here, but the agents facilitate for those people that you can live over here on 800. Well, there's people I know that are living on state pension over here, £800 a month, and they can live probably a better life here on £800 a month than you can do in the UK. But of course, they don't come to the criteria that Thailand are asking for. And it's like every country in the world, there's facilitators that will help facilitate, and Thailand is one of them. Hi Les, marriage visa is apparently a lot of paperwork, and I'm told, did you say that you're going to do a video on this? That will help us a lot. Thanks. I have done a video with all the paperwork that was required. Might be a couple of years or so ago, but the video that I'm going to do in the next week or so is I've actually got the marriage visa now. Well, I should say I'm under consideration. All the paperwork goes to Bangkok for a month, and then next week I'll be getting a visit from the immigration office to make sure that we're still living here. A photograph with the immigration officer, immigration police, and we have to have a witness here as well. So again, more paperwork to do next week, and then next month we'll get the visa for a year. It's a lot. It's a lot of paperwork. But again, go down to your immigration office. Our immigration officer lady asks for paperwork that nobody else has had to provide at various stages. So it's best off go down to the immigration office, ask them what they require. And that's what we do. We always expect that she'll want more paperwork. And thankfully now we've got a massive list of paperwork that she keeps asking for. But next year it might not be required, and they might require something else. Then we'll acquire that paperwork and then give it that to them next year. Hi, question. Do you still get goals or have ambition for things in retirement? It's important to be active. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Oh yeah, my bucket list is a big bucket list. Yeah, I still have goals. My next goal is like when I get my state pension, because I love traveling, and then we're going to have about £500 to £600 a month, just purely and utterly for travel money. We can live a good life on the money that I have already, on my fire brigade pension and the state pension. That is going to be our travel money, and then we're going to travel all over the place, and that's how we're going to live. Travel around all over the place, and there's still many things that I want to go and see. Yeah, I still do try to do many things, but I have actually done many things that people only dream of. Travel around the world, travel around Europe, flown in the stunt plane, done paragliding, parasailing, scuba diving. Yeah, so I've done many things, and I've loved every single minute of it. But now I'm 64, so I don't want to jump out of airplanes anymore. I don't want to take my feet off the ground, if you like. But yes, I still enjoy doing my solar. I'm a DIY guy, so I still fix people's problems. I still play around with the solar in my house. In fact, I've done some solar videos, and I've still got some more solar YouTube videos to do. So yeah, that keeps me active, and 100% I agree with what you say. You have to be active, otherwise you're going to end up just being a barstool warrior, which isn't any good whatsoever to anybody. If you've got an alcohol problem in your home country and you come to live in Thailand, you can have a big alcohol problem living here in Thailand. Again, the pace of life here is so relaxing, and I mean, look at that on that side up. There's me hammock there. I was on there this morning, and our sofa there. This is where I have my coffee on the morning, because the sun comes up over there. It's lovely. Here we are in November. I can sit outside. Okay, there's a beautiful thunderstorm going on in the background, but it's nice and warm. I've got the fan to keep me cool. I never, ever, ever want to feel the cold again unless I want to, because I used to do my skiing holidays and I love the skiing, but that's a different cold. I'd much sooner sit in front of the fan to keep cool than sit in front of a radiator or an electric fire to keep warm. I met the crimes, but a lot of people, yep. You'd be surprised to know how many people I've actually helped who don't meet the criteria and pointed them into the right direction. Do you have to do the 90-day report with the marriage visa? Yes, you do. Same thing. Still have to do the 90 days. Hi, Les. Enjoying your channel immensely. Such a knowledgeable guy and great view on life. Are you doing a separate keto video for this week? In fact, funny enough, I've done the keto video this morning. I still need to edit it, and but it'll be out this afternoon after I've done the live stream. And you'll be pleased to know this is the end of week 6, and I'm down to 103.6. I had a little bit of a slip up last week because we were in Hua Hin, and we had some friends down as well, so we were in Hua Hin. So although I did without the rice, I had a few Chang beers, and that put me back up to 105 from 104.4. But as of this morning, I'm 103.6. So I'm happy with that. I'm still on my target to getting down to below 100 by December. And so I just want to be able to eat and drink wherever I want to whilst I'm away from my 4 weeks holiday. But I'll take it easy. I won't be having any rice or carbs, stuff like that. Otherwise, it'll just come back on. So yeah, my keto video will be loaded up this afternoon. Thanks very much for asking. Yeah, but the keto, I find the keto diet for me is the easiest diet. I have one meal a day, so it's cheap to eat the keto diet, because once you're in ketosis, you don't feel hungry at all. I've had one meal a day, and that's all I'm going to have, and I'm not bothered because you just don't feel hungry. And then when you're the diets, do you not feel hungry? So as far as I'm aware, the keto diet and the carnivore diet are the only 2 diets that you get adapted to ketones, and the ketone, and your body eats off the fat. Where a lot of other diets, you're reducing the carbohydrates, and let's face it, your body would sooner have the sugars from the carbohydrates than the fat from your body. So I'm down to 103.6, and I'm over the moon with that. So thanks very much for asking. That video will be on late this afternoon. Hi, Liz, it's Sean, your new neighbour around the corner. Jackson is the dog's name. Hi, Sean. Everything going okay? Dentist treatment. I haven't forgot the dentist. So I've been so busy getting me retirement, me marriage visa sorted out on one thing and another. And so dentist, we're going to go to the dentist maybe it's Tuesday or Wednesday next week. It depends on when the immigration people come. They should be here Monday or Tuesday. Well, Monday we're away on a small holiday. Tuesday we are hopefully going to see the dentist Tuesday or Wednesday. So you're more than welcome to come with us just to go and see the dentist if you want to do that. And we'll take you to the dentist that I go to in Rayong. So I need a crown anyway, and I've got a couple of holes in my teeth because I can feel them. So I might even have to have a couple of root canals done. So the crown is about 9,000, or it was 9,000 the last time I had the other crown done. And apparently if I get root canals, I'll need a crown for them as well. So I'm looking at maybe 30 to 50,000 bahts worth of dental work myself. So I hate dentists. I don't like dentists, but I know I've got to go to the dentist. Otherwise, the tooth will have to come out, and then I'll be eating with my gums. So yeah, just let me know, Sean, if you fancy going Tuesday or Wednesday next week. You certainly come along with us. But Jackson, I showed Ploy the dog, Jackson, and he's a lovely dog, but she's scared stiff of dogs. Kevin does, in technically illegal, as with most things in Thailand, there's a way around thing. Agents helped grease the cogs. Someone I know pays an agency each. Yeah, Thailand we can bend the laws, can't we? But as long as we don't break them, and that's what the facilitators do, the agents, they help facilitate things like this. I plan to ski every month when I retire, spending kids' inheritance. Yeah, well, I'm spending my kids' inheritance. They're not going to get a single penny. Skiing, I love my skiing holidays. It's just a totally different feeling, skiing holidays. Always liked skiing. But the nearest place for snow here is Korea. And that's, I think, about a 5-hour flight to Korea. So it's prohibitively expensive. I may be retiring in the next few months, and I'm heading out next week for Bangkok and then down to Hua Hin and maybe Hat Yai to try find a city with good air quality. Any suggestions? Well, probably the further south you go, the air quality does get better, that's for sure. Hua Hin is okay. Hua Hin's a nice. We just come back from Hua Hin earlier this week. It's very nice down there. Hat Yai is okay. Yeah, I mean the burning season, 3 months of the year, the air quality can be quite bad up north, and it just spread down a little bit down south as well. Bangkok is always bad. I mean, when I did my Bangkok video, I was coughing and spluttering because just the petrol fumes that are there all the time. It's just gets on your chest. So hopefully retire next year. Don't be the OMYs, 1 more years. I know a few people, 1 more year, 1 more year, 1 more year. Retire as soon as you can for as long as you can, and hopefully it'll last as long as it can. I've been retired now 14 years and I've loved every minute of it. Luckily enough, I retired at 50 years old and I love being retired. I love the travel. I love the lifestyle I've got. It's sort of like a holiday every day and I enjoy it. But you've got to be active and do something about it. Otherwise, you'll just sit on the bar stove. Iceland, you got drunk, Les. No, I had a couple of beers. I never get drunk. I may qualify for one of the smart type visas also. Well, if that's the elite visa, that's an awful lot of money that you will never, ever get back when there's other ways of doing it. I'd sooner keep the £20,000 or so that you have to pay for the elite visa and spend it on a car or something like that, rather than 20,000, especially when you don't have to do it that direction. The elite visa, it comes with some bells and whistles, but no, I would say there's other ways of doing it. Save you £20,000 and I'll can help guide you through that, and then just buy me a cup of coffee because I can show you, navigate around a way for doing it like that. If you've got 800,000 baht to put in the bank, then you never have to worry about it at all. And you get your 800,000 baht back as well. I'm a straight carnivore. I like my vegetables and salad and things like that. So I don't think I could just do straight carnivore, but well done. I've been eating 1 meal a day since last Tuesday. Basically, I started when I started the keto diet again, because I put weight on when I went back to the UK. I started straight away in 1 meal a day, intermittent fasting, because I know the benefits of it. And okay, it takes 3 or 4 days to get into it, and then you feel okay. Oh, that's good. My wife's just come back now, just as it's starting to rain, and all the sausages are gone as well. I know, left it open for you. So she'd come back from the beach, but there's like big thunderstorm happening there, so she'd come back at the right time. Okay, where was I? Storm here, Naklua. Well, yeah, there was big flooding in Bangkok and Pattaya the other day. Thanks, Les. Enjoyed the live stream. I'm off to the allotment for a couple of hours. Thanks very much for joining us early. I know we're an hour earlier than normally, 4 o'clock. It's just 4 o'clock till 6. It's only 2 hours, and sometimes my streams go on for nearly 4 hours. So that just takes us into the night, and I have to set the lights up and things like that. So thanks very much for joining us, and enjoy the allotment. Put the radio 2 on and watch the weeds grow. Thanks very much for joining. Lost a filling, started talking to me about whether I had a root canal before, but never have, so just done a new filling. Well, hopefully that's all I'll need is a couple of fillings. But I've never liked dentists. I've never, ever, and I avoid going to the dentist. But now I can feel there's 2 holes on both sides of me tooth. So I've got to go and do something about it. So fingers crossed it's not a root canal, it's just a filling. But for certainly that one, the crown, the back of the crown's come off, or the front of it's still on, but half the crowns just fell off. So I know for a fact that's 9,000 baht to get that one done. The other one that I got done, silly enough, I went there and she said it's 9,000 baht for a porcelain crown, or she said 15,000 baht for a crown that's guaranteed that it won't crack and it won't break. So I said, okay, I'll have the 15,000 baht one, thinking afterwards, this one that I've had on there before it cracked and broke, I'd done it for 20 years. So, if, you know, in 20 years' time, when I'm 84-year-old, I won't care whether it's come off or not. So I should have just paid the 9,000 and got the porcelain one. But never mind. The next one's just going to be the porcelain one for 9,000. But I'm expecting a 40 or 50,000 bahts worth of dental work. But I'll do a video about that as well, because lots of people are asking how much the dental costs is here in Thailand. I don't like dentists, so it's one of them videos I don't want to particularly make because I don't like dentists, but I'll let everybody know. I've got to say, when they did the other crown, I never felt any pain, not even because they put numbing cream on the first before they give me the injection as well. I felt no pain whatsoever, which is probably the first time ever that I've been to a dentist and I came out, didn't feel one little bit of pain. So fingers crossed, and I'm going to go back and see the same lady again. Jackson in Thailand. Appreciate that, but found a dentist called Moose. She was brilliant. I was previously quoted 49,000 for a root canal and a new tooth. She drilled out, created a filling that looks like a tooth. All right. Oh, well done. Well done. It costs 1,650 baht, including 2 extras. Oh, well, oh, that's good. That's very good. I'll go and see how much mine is on Tuesday or Wednesday. But I'm glad you got it sorted out anyway. Well done. Is it true that hospitals have a price list for treatment costs in Thailand? I don't know about price list, but there was something said quite a while ago now, and it always sticks, is that the government give the thumbs up, the green light to hospitals charging tourists 4 times more for treatment than it would cost a Thai person. And his remarks were, it's good for the economy. So apparently being a tourist, you get charged the most. If you're a Thai person, you get charged the least. And if you are retired or on a marriage visa, you get charged a little bit more, but not as much as what you pay the tourists. But you can always ask for how much it's going to cost anyway before treatment. And I've got to say, I was quite impressed with the public hospitals. A couple of friends of mine had some work or had some hospital stays, and I thought it was quite reasonable, the work that they had done for the cost of it. So I always recommend people to go to the public hospitals, because when all said and done, a doctor's a doctor, and whether he's working at the public hospital or whether he's working at the private hospital, a doctor is a doctor. And when you require medical treatment, you don't care whether it's a public hospital or a Bangkok hospital. But your money goes much, much further in a public hospital, and that's what I tell everybody to do. I've even said to my wife, even though I've got medical insurance, if anything happens to me, send me to the public hospital first. And then my money, or my insurance money, will go a little bit further. Hi, let's you get crumpets in Thailand with plum jam, yummy. Yeah, I've seen crumpets, but I'm not a crumpet person. Morning, Les. Hope you're all as good there, mate. From Brian Roberts. Yeah, everything is good. Brian, thanks very much for joining us. I know I've been on here now for an hour already, so thanks very much for those people who got up maybe a little bit early, 8 o'clock as opposed to 9 o'clock. It's because your clocks went back or forward. I think it's gone back, isn't it? Wherever it is. But in the afternoon here, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. Much cheaper to go to a government hospital than a private. Yeah, that's what I've just said. Had a filling for $20, 500 baht. Walk out laughing. That's cheap, New Zealand. Wow, that's cheap for a filling. But it's hard in the UK. It's hard to get a dentist. My niece was going to be charged £875 for 4 fillings from a private dentist because she couldn't get into an NHS dentist. £875, I think it was. Crazy for 4 fillings, isn't it? Wouldn't be surprised if the hospitals charge more for Farangs, charge more. Yeah, again, it's just the way it is, isn't it? It's one of them things. It's the privilege of living here. You'll end up paying a little bit more for various other things. It comes with the territory, but you think of how much money you save over the years not paying any of the exorbitant petrol costs, the taxation that we get taxed for in the UK. Swings and roundabouts. If you stay healthy, you don't need the hospital treatment, so therefore saving money. That's why I'm losing the weight, because it affects your body, doesn't it? 20 kilos. I've lost 20 kilos before, and that makes a big difference on your joints. You just lift up 20 kilos and you're carrying that around on your body all the time. So it's a big, big difference. How much is my medical insurance? My medical insurance for a 64-year-old, I have 700,000 bahts worth of coverage. Many people say that's not enough, but I'm quite a healthy guy, so why do I want to pay 3 or 4 million or have insurance for 3 or 4 million bahts worth of insurance? And I'm on no pills, potions or lotions, and I'm okay with everything. A little bit overweight, but I'm doing something about that. And my medical insurance for 700,000 bahts worth of coverage, just short of 25,000 baht a year. So just over £500 a year for medical insurance. So I'm quite happy with that. And when I get older, and obviously when my pension money kicks in 2 years, I'll up that to a little bit more, because as you're getting older, there's a bit more of a risk, isn't there? So I'll just increase it as my pension goes up every year. So yeah, I've had medical insurance, well, for 10 years of the 12 years I've been living in Thailand. So I agree with medical insurance. It's a necessity, I think, or have a backup plan anyway. Medical insurance is important. Don't give it a miss. Yeah, storm coming your way. Yeah, it's just gone over that way. Thunder and lightning in the background. But I've got to say, I've never seen it before. It's like 3/4 of the way around it was just jet black. And the wind got up, but thankfully the rain held off and it's all going in. Somebody's getting a big, big storm at the minute. And thankfully it's not us. Had a false tooth fall out in the morning. My dentist put it back in the same afternoon, 1,500. Well, that's very cheap. That's the cheapest I've heard of. Hello, Les. Immigration and government are fully aware of agents. Agents could be stopped if immigration were required to see your bank details every 90-day reporting. Okay, I'll go on a little bit about that. A number of years ago, when there was a big hoo-ha about agents and things like that, and the immigration officers at your first renewal, because if you renew it with 800,000 baht, you've got to have it in the account for 2 months before and 3 months afterwards. And that 3 months afterwards coincides with your 90-day report. So they used to put little slips of paper in your passport saying, bring your bank book at the next visit of 90 days. That freaks many, many people out because they hadn't got the 800,000 baht in. So this is where the agents then turn around and says, we'll do your 90-day reporting for you for a little bit more money. So that stopped people going down to the immigration office and showing them that they got the bank book with the 800,000 baht in. And all that did, that just sent more people to the agents, because the agents can wave their magic wands and get a little bit more money out of you. And that was, again, in my mind, there to frighten people. And the immigration relies a lot on the agencies. I can't say much more than that, but agents and immigration officers work hand in hand, and they're beneficial for both parties, if you like it like that. Hi Les, just had a wisdom tooth removed and antibiotic tablets because it turned to a dry socket and had to go private. My NHS dentist didn't want to know, cost £330 all in. Oh, well, that's not too bad, was it? I mean, it's a lot, 330 quid for a tooth out, but wow. Philippines is having their 4th typhoon in a month. Climate change. Wow. I mean, that's another thing as well with the Philippines. Many people say about the Philippines, but they get some really, really bad weather. And I've got to say, there's sort of no natural disasters here in Thailand. We don't get typhoons. We don't get cyclones. We don't get really, really bad weather. No earthquakes. We don't have any sharks. We don't have any box jellyfish. We still have jellyfish. And, okay, when I say we don't get any box jellyfish, there has been a couple of deaths with box jellyfish down Koh Samui way, but they're very, very, very rare. And I think there's only been one shark attack in the whole of Thailand in the last 10 years or so. So we're quite good. We're quite good as far as living in a country that hasn't got any of these bad things going for them. We do have snakes that can kill you. They're the cobras, but that's probably the only thing that can kill you over here. Whereas Australia has 8 of the top 10 things that can kill you living in Australia. And that's not just the Australians. So I think we live in a pretty safe country, Thailand. And the crime rate is very, very good. It's not, when I say very, very good, I mean, it's not bad. Unlike the Philippines, where people feel unsafe in the Philippines. And when you get armed guards outside of, takeaway shops like 7-Eleven, that's not a good thing to see, is it? But hey ho, if you like the Philippines, you like the Philippines. I find Thailand a very, very safe place to live. And that's why I like Thailand. I'm here in California. Thanks for the input. The smart visa with some flavors, tech visa, trying to get tech people into Thailand. Yeah. I mean, that's the DTTV, Destination Thailand visa. That might be a good visa for you because they want, nomads to work over here and things. So yeah, but there are ways of getting your visa over here. That's for sure. That's the annoying thing, like I accidentally went below the 800,000 baht for a few days and had to do the visa run. But okay for someone using agency to put the money in the same day. Yeah, there was an American guy that I met because after your first 3 months of your visa, you're allowed to go down to 400,000. And his son borrowed some money out, took some money out of his bank, and he went 20 baht under the 400,000 baht. And he put the money back in and a little bit more. So he was over 400,000 baht same day. And they turned his visa down because he went 20 baht underneath. And this American guy, he's been living here for 20 odd years. And he had a big argument with the immigration officer because he can speak fluent Thai. And she told him to leave the country and reapply for his visa again for 20 baht under the 400,000. So yeah, they have the leeway to sort of like, okay, don't let it happen again. But sometimes rules is rules, and if they want to play the game, they have the power of the pen. So basically, shouting and screaming at them made him have to leave the country. But it's frustrating sometimes. Earthquakes and floods up north. Okay, where floods happen everywhere. Floods happened in Redcar, where I used to live. So floods, I don't class them as a natural disaster, really. Okay, there's been some landslides in Phuket, but that's because of house development and knocking the forest down. So that wasn't a natural disaster. That's a man-made disaster and things like that. Floods, okay, floods happen everywhere. And there has been quite a few floods in Chiang Mai. But in my last 10 years as being a firefighter, every year we were going out to various floods that we never, ever had when I first joined. Going to a flooding is very, very rare in my early days of the fire brigade. But my last 10 years, every year we were dealing with floods. What about crocodiles? Okay, we've got crocodiles, but you keep well away from them. Crocodiles and alligators. I've never seen a crocodile swimming in the sea. Not that I want to see a crocodile swimming in the sea. Okay, yeah, so I'll concede that one. We've got crocodiles and we've got cobras. Two things. Thailand better than the Philippines, in my honest opinion, but not totally safe in regards to natural disasters. Yeah, I don't think anywhere is totally safe for natural disasters. That's what it is. Natural disaster is a natural disaster. Things happen for all sorts of reasons. But again, in all the time that I've lived here, we had a bit of flooding in Rayong, and the water came halfway up the car, which is a little bit concerning. That was like a big rainstorm, and we got diverted into this street, and the water came halfway up the car. That's the only time I'm really worried about it over here. Agree with your theory, Les. Retire early as possible, and as I can see, the UK state pension being means tested, so no point in having a large savings, big private pension, as it will cancel the state. Yeah, they're definitely coming to that conclusion. I think they might do the same thing as Australia, means test the state pension. But that's not going to happen in the sort of next few years. They have to give people a time frame. I think they're going to make it compulsory that everybody pays into a private pension throughout the whole of their life. And I think that's a good idea as well, because if it gets taken out at source, then you don't miss it. I wouldn't like to think I've been in a job that all I got pension was my state pension, because that's not enough to live on anywhere in the world. So again, it is what it is, but I can't see any happy times happening soon in the UK, that's for sure. Few lots of under-the-counter payments. It's a country of brown envelopes, is Thailand. I always thought you had to have money in the account for 3 months before and after, but my immigration officer insisted it's for the whole year. No. Well, there goes another thing, doesn't it, about the difference. Immigration officers should be singing from immigration officers should be singing from the same hymn sheet, but they don't. It is 2 months before and 3 months afterwards, you're 800,000. Then you're allowed to go down to 400,000. For new people who want a retirement visa, whereas before, if you had it in 2 months before, they allowed that. But now I've been told by several other people to say that the immigration officers don't want that. They want it in for at least a year before they will grant you it, which is quite hard to do, really, isn't it? Or that's for the income method at 65. They want to see the 65,000 baht every month for a year before they give it on the income method. The 800,000, I believe, it's still only 2 months beforehand on your first application. But there are ways around that. For instance, if you get an agent to do it, and then you'll get sort of a 15-month visa, and then you just put 65,000 baht into your bank account every single month for 12 months, and then that shows immigration that is the income method, and that is more reliable, should I say, than using an agent, because then they can see the 65,000 baht income method every single month. So is a way of using an agent to get your first visa. And then by doing it yourself, because when all's said and done, you've got to have some money to live on over here. And if you put 65 into the bank every month, you can then get the income method on the visa. And then that only costs you 1,900 baht every year. So simple to do. You don't need to use a visa every single year. There are ways around it. And that's the way I would suggest be able to do it. You will find the most dangerous creatures in the bars. A lot of snakes in the bar. Yes, both male and female. I think you're right about the state pension being mean tested in the coming years. I'm just putting up with buying bigger property that I can eventually sold or rented out. Good luck with that one. Hope everything goes well. I had a nightmare tenants in my houses. It wasn't a happy time for me. I had lots of problems. And I just think, the powers are on the tenant side now. You can have the worst tenant ever, and it might take you years to get them out. The most dangerous animal in Thailand is the bar girl. You'll wish you'd been bitten by a cobra. I think the bar girls get a rough deal with that one. I don't think there are good and bad bar girls throughout the whole of the country. Not all bar girls are bad. Trouble is with everyone paying into the company pension, opening the door for means testing. Well, it does. It opens the doors for means testing, but it also provides a pension for everybody to retire on rather than having nothing at all. Hello, everyone. I'm Thai Woman. Hello, Thai Woman. Thanks very much for joining us. Wise is a third of the cost for a transfer money from my Canada bank, who are a rip-off. Again, yeah, TransferWise, I've used them for many years. It cost me about £7 or £8 to transfer £1,400 from my UK bank account over to here. Far, far cheaper than the bank would charge me. Bar girls, dangerous snakes, aha. It's not just bar. I had three wives that turned out to be dangerous. They cost me more than any bar girls over here. Okay, we got 115 in the house. Welcome, 115 people. 53 thumbs up. Can I ask for a few more thumbs up? That helps the algorithm go through the YouTube motions and be able to spread the word. And I love doing these live streams. And as long as the questions keep coming in or people want to know the answers, then I'll give a few more things. I think. And like I say, if you've got any questions, put a big Q at the beginning of it and I'll answer any of the questions that people have. Again, this is your chance to ask any questions that you want to do. And if I can't give you the answers, I'll point you in the right direction that people can. And again, living here for 12 years, I know quite a bit about it. In Australia, a marriage visa gives permanent visa compared to Thailand with a temporary 1-year visa. Yeah, but that's the Thai law. And again, you take the good bits and the bad bits and put them all together, it's still a mediocre type of thing. And I've got no complaints about it. I don't even mind not being able to own Thai land over here, because that means Thailand will always belong to Thailand. And if they had anybody buying it, prices over here would be so expensive, and it would be owned by the Chinese. Like the UK, I don't think there's any part of London which is actually owned by British people. It's all foreigners. So I've got no problems with the bureaucracy as far as foreigners not being able to own the land. There are ways and means of doing it, and I'll come on to that in a minute, of being able to not own the land or the property that you're living in, but there's certain things that you can do that legally protect you living over here. Got my visa, and the immigration officer said to me, make sure you have the 800,000 baht in the account for the year. Okay, well, again, that's different to what the ruling is. the ruling before used to be called the where you could have 400,000 and have an income of, so it was combination method. So you used to have 400,000 coming in over the year period and have 400,000 in the bank. That's all stopped as well now, the combination method, because many people like that, because then you didn't have to have all the 800,000 as you were drawing money in, but they've stopped that. Maybe it's the tightening the rules up. I don't really know, because there's a lot of problems with the Ruskies. The Ruskies are causing lots of problems here in Thailand, and maybe because of that, they're flouting the rules and flouting the Thai law. Is that they are clamping down on it, and so maybe that's the reason why all of these things have become more difficult. I don't know, but the Ruskies have certainly caused lots of problems in Thailand. The only Western holiday that's invisible in Thai tourist towns is Easter. The bars even do stuff on, yeah. I get texts here on Valentine's. Valentine's Day is quite big over in Thailand. I think it's quite big all around the world, isn't it? Don't do Thanksgiving. Yeah, but it's Thailand, isn't it? And they don't do many things over in our countries. Fiscal drag will soon cause us to pay taxes, pensions. Yeah, isn't that funny how Labour has cut many things that the Conservatives did, but the fiscal drag is still out. We don't have any plans on extending it past 2028. So that's still 3 more years that we're not going to get any tax right, which is just it's so damned annoying, isn't it? The Labour government are far worse than people even dreamt of. But that's the way it goes. I visited Jomjim numerous times in July, August, found it very hot, and April, May even hotter. Yeah, April, May, June, July is very hot. After April, that becomes the hot season, and it's very hot and sticky and very humid. Are they going to tax the pensions living in Thailand? Hope not. Again, here we are, almost a year into it, when they announced what they were going to do, and there's no concrete evidence yet. Even the tax experts still don't know what's going on, and here we are in November. So there's people put frightening things on YouTube, and there's other companies saying, "We'll do your tax, get your tax number for 7,000 baht, and everybody needs a tax number." Have I got a tax number? No, I haven't. Have I consulted a tax expert? I've consulted 2 tax experts, and given the same information. One tax expert said I'll pay tax, and the other tax expert said I won't pay tax. And these are 2 tax experts. And so play it by ear, see what happens, cross that bridge when we get to it. So I wouldn't worry about it. And if we do have to pay tax, it'll be a small amount. It's never going to be made so bad that we're going to leave the country. I think Thailand in itself, by doing what they're doing, shooting themselves in the foot. But TIT, this is Thailand, and they will do what they want to do. And it's like everything else, we'll just follow along and do what we need to go and do. It's still a beautiful place to live. I'm still saving money living here compared to living in the UK. The combination method still exists in Udantani Immigration Office. Well, there you go. It doesn't exist down here because there's a couple of people wanted to use that, and the immigration officer says no. There was one. No, I can't say that. Somebody told me something that was very ominous from an immigration officer in the office, but I can't say that. Not on YouTube. Immigration officer was moved to a lot better facility. Seem to be doing it in lots of places, but consequence seems to be getting more strict. it's their country. When all said and done, they can be as strict or as lax as they want. But it's the information that they ask for is not impossible. And, no matter what they ask for, we can always give them or find the information. Again, it was just inconvenient that they wanted the transfer-wise details. So I had to go on the computer, download it, and print it out. But when all said and done, it took me about half an hour. So it's not too much to ask for. If that's what they want, that's what they can have. They've never asked for anything that was impossible. Immigration officers has moved. I've done that one. Les, when renewing my visa, a lady at the bank said I should switch my account to a local bank, save me out the province charges, but I'm worried that they could affect my visa. Any thoughts? No, you can do that. With me, my bank account was opened up in Pattaya, and I pay the 30 baht charge every time I draw the money out of the ATM, because the province of Rayong isn't in the province of Chonburi, Pattaya. So I was going to do that, and I said to the bank, the Bangkok bank in Ban Pay, where I lived, I was thinking of changing it over. Can I open a bank account here? And she says, no, I had to cancel the one first in Pattaya and then reopen one in Rayong. I wasn't allowed to open up another Bangkok bank account before closing the other one up. So, and as it's difficult to open up a bank account anyway, I will suffer and pay the 30 baht charge, because we only draw that amount of money out, 20,000 baht, for spending money once a month. Everything else I do online, so there's no charges for that at all. So it's for me, it's not worth opening and closing different bank accounts. It's 30 baht to draw your money out, which isn't an awful lot in the big scale of things, is it? So I would say keep it as it is and pay the 30 baht. They didn't up our tax allowance as the government will pay, so they indirectly charged us via. Yeah, again, the government, we are the most taxed country now, or the highest paying tax since the Second World War. And the Tories, the Labour slagged the Tories off because we were the highest paying tax since the Second World War. And it's funny how the Labour have never said that anymore, because now we pay more tax. And because now we pay more tax than the Tories were even going to tax us. So we're even more taxed now than what we were in the Second World War. And I can't see it going in any other direction but up, because there's more and more things, more people are drawing from the pot than they're putting in. And they're on little black boats coming from France. And that isn't going to get fixed very quickly either. Where else? Dropping 400,000 baht after 3 months of receiving retirement visas still exists in Udon immigration offices. Storming jumped EM. Well, that's where I can see all the black clouds going, and there was lots of black clouds from over here. So stay safe. It's good. I like watching thunder and lightning. Scott Green, your show is excellent. Well done. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. How do you make a phone call to the UK? Is there something better than Skype? No, I always use Skype. Skype or Messenger. If you have a Facebook account, then you've got somebody with Messenger, and that's free as well. But Skype is very, very, very cheap. If I need to call any of my offices or pension providers or solicitors in the UK, then I use Skype. And it's I think I put a tenner's worth of credit on 5 years or so ago, and I'm still got about £5 worth of credit. It's in pennies, the cost of phoning anybody up in the UK. So yes, Skype is very, very good. Question, Les, I read on a forum somewhere, cannot remember, but they said if you send money to the wife's bank account, will not be taxed because classified as a gift. You have heard of anything such thing? Funny enough, yes, I've heard of such things. Apparently, you can gift your wife 20 million baht. I don't know whether that's a year or whether it's a one-off payment or whatever. But this is what I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons why I reduced my payments to 43,000. I'll tell you about this in a minute. Because if they're going to tax you, they're going to tax you on the amount of money that you bring into this country. So let's say I was bringing 60,000 baht in. So I'm going to get taxed on 60,000 baht. But my marriage visa, I only have to bring in 40,000 baht. So I reduced the money that I send over to 43,000 baht. So I'm over the 40,000 baht benchmark, as you like. I also started from next month in December's pay. I'm going to pay my wife direct from TransferWise as well. So she gets the housekeeping money, if you like, directly paid to her, as opposed to getting sent into my bank account and then I give her the money. And that avoids another 15 or 16,000 baht that potentially may get taxed. So let's see how that works. There's other people who tried to skirt the law by putting 800,000 baht into the bank account, and then the banks won't know how much money that they're getting in. But the immigration office will also ask, where's your money coming into the account? How do you live? So they will assume that you're working to get an income, because nobody can just have the 800,000 baht in the bank and live on nothing. So you must be getting some money somewhere. So if you tell them it's nothing to do with you, then you could be done for tax evading, because you obviously got to live on something. So are you working? It just creates a lot more complications, if you like, by not having money coming into this country. So then there's other ways where you can draw the money through an ATM card, which is 220 baht every time you use an ATM card to draw your money. At the moment, that is not quite easily to find by the tax authority. But again, if they look into such things, it'll be classed as tax evading. So therefore, you could be in more trouble. So my answer to all of this lot is be open and upfront. There are other ways and methods of doing it. Giving my wife an income, something like that, or housekeeping money, may be the way to do it, because it's not being totally illegal. You're not trying to avoid everything. It's just different ways. And I do believe that there is a certain amount of money that you can give your wife that you won't be taxed on. But there are other ways of doing it. And there are some big loopholes already being talked about by the tax people. So you can drive an Arctic lorry through it because it's such a big loophole. I personally think it'll never happen, because they haven't got enough tax administrators to deal with Thailand's taxes without the thousands and thousands of people who live from all over the world coming to Thailand. And they haven't got the amount of specialists to be able to do this type of thing. And they would be inundated by paperwork just to be told you don't have to pay tax, you don't have to pay tax. It's going to be expensive for them to administer as well. But that's my own personal thoughts on that. So yes, I think there's always going to be a way to get around the system, and just don't worry about it until it happens. And then when it does happen, it'll be massive news. It'll be all over YouTube. It'll be all over the news. There'll be so many experts telling you how to do it, how not to do it. And then you've got to pick and choose which one you believe and which one you don't. But I'm not worried about it. I haven't got a personal tax identification number. That's how I think it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to pay 7,000 baht for some tax expert to give me a tax account number that I'll probably never ever need. But let's see what happens. Play by ear. Let's see what happens. Let's just been going through my recent bills. Council tax £3,500 per year. Utilities, water, gas and electric 5,200. My electric bill is last month 12 quid, less than 12 quid. And now I've got my solar going, so I'll find out between the 18th and the 20th when they read the meter how much my solar has reduced the bill. I think it'll be either a third or half what I was paying before with the solar. But that it might be a little bit different because we've had a lot of rainy days, so that hasn't generated as much electricity as I thought it might do. But now we're sort of the rainy season, apart from today, because it's all gone cloudy and dark now, and it's not producing any electricity or hardly any electricity on the solar. So I think my electricity bill in the end will be about £10 a month. I can sleep at night paying £10 a month. I've got no council tax bills. In fact, yeah, £3,500 per year council tax probably pays what I pay for rent here. Oh, maybe it's not quite. But yeah, council tax and the electricity and rates, it's just so, it just takes a big chunk out of your monthly allowance, isn't it? It's a big house, but things have become, again, you're paying an awful lot for everything in the UK, and you don't get the services that you should be getting. A lot of companies have some ways of talking to them, either by WhatsApp or Messenger. Yeah, WhatsApp and Line are very, very, very good. And again, Messenger is good, Facebook Messenger and Skype. David Barker, hello Les, did you celebrate Loy Krathong? Yes, we did. We met a friend of ours who's just come over from England. We went down into Banpei. Fantastic night out it was. They had a water show, they had music on, lots and lots of food and entertainment. And then we dropped my friend went to where he needed to go. Then we came further towards our house where they had more festivals going on, more music going on. We had something else to eat on the beach. It was just a fantastic night. It really, really was good. Loy Krathong, every year, it's such a good celebration. And then towards the back end of this month, 23rd, 24th, there's another big concert with one of Thailand's top singers appearing. So we're looking forward to that, and it's another free event. No car parking charges, no exorbitant prices to pay for your food, just normal prices for everything. Really, really good night out. So yes, Loy Krathong was very, very good. Frankie Four Fingers, you will be shocked if Les told you how much he pays for energy. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be down to £10 a month. It's normally between £15 and £18 a month. Never ever been above £18 since we've lived here. £18 a month. And of course, our gas, we only cook with gas, and a bottle of gas is about £5 or £6. We use 2 bottles a year, so again, £12 a year in gas, pound a month. Usual thing with the tax hike and amount made, implications and work involved, millions suddenly wanting tax numbers. Yeah, crazy. My local council is even charging £50 a year for my garden waste bin. So much for recycling green waste. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? Highlights, what's the deal with getting the old age pension in Thailand? I'm 63 in Australia, and I know it's not index links. Now, Australian pension is different to, unless you mean you've got a UK pension and you're living in Australia. I don't know. But if it's an Australian pension, my friend's just going around about that now. He's 60, coming up to 65. So he has to go and live in Australia for 2 years to be able to get his pension, which is means tested. But if you've got a UK state pension, if you live in Thailand, then you don't get the increase. But I've done a couple of videos where if you live in a reciprocal country for 185 days of the year, then you can get the increases. And by getting the increases, you just have to live in for me, the nearest reciprocal country is the Philippines. Live in the Philippines for 185 days and you get the rises. In fact, I'm going to do another video again on this in the next week or two, because I have a couple of people who are actually doing that now. They took my advice, and there's one guy who's living in the Philippines now getting the extra rise, and to him that's £45 a week extra, because he's got a 24% rise in what his pension was by living in the Philippines. So £45 a week, it's not to be sniffed at. And there's another guy who's going to go next year, and he'll be £55 a week better off by living in the Philippines for 6 months. And so there's ways and means around to do it, but it is not advertised, funny enough, on the pensions website. And to get this information, you have to call a horse's mouth. And it depends which horse that you talk to, because the horse's mouths don't all say the same thing. 2 people sent me an email and said all the information that I give was incorrect and I was wrong. And I said, I'm not wrong, because if you speak to this particular guy, he will tell you that I am right. And when they re-rang the Department of Works and Pensions, then they found out I was correct in what I was saying. So even they don't know the law or the state of it fully as they should. And they're not all singing on the same hymn sheet. But yes, you can get your pension rise. It's not worth doing if it's only 2 or 3%, because then it's going to cost you more money to get that. But because over the last 2 years, there's been like 18% or so pay rise, 10.1 and 6.7. And then if you, like I did an example for, if you came over to Thailand 2019, there's a 24% pay rise. Because of all the increments that you've missed. So it's something like £200 a month, easily £200 a month that you could get by going to the Philippines. And now at 24% is worthwhile doing. So in reality, the government will pay you to have a holiday with your money so you can get the increase, and that increase is there for the rest of your life for doing 185 days in the Philippines. There's a list of reciprocal countries. The other cheapest one is probably Turkey. So you can go and live in Turkey for 185 days. Or you can go visit Turkey for 3 months, you go live in the UK for 3 months, then come back to Thailand. As long as you've lived 185 days in any reciprocal country, you can get the rise, which is all the better for us, isn't it? Any particular reasons why Pattaya Jumjim don't have tuk-tuks? I don't, because they have the BART buses. You cannot compete against the BART bus. The BART bus used to be 10 baht. I do believe now it's gone up to 20 baht. So tuk-tuks are just never, ever going to work, because you'll just jump on a BART bus you can go all the way from Jomtien down to Dolphin Roundabout for 20 baht. A tuk-tuk driver isn't going to take you anywhere near that type of distance. And in Phuket, the BART buses start off at about 200 baht just to get on. Even if you went 50 meters, it's 200 baht, where tuk-tuks then can be, in competition. Same as Bangkok. We jumped in a tuk-tuk. We went to the Chai Prao River on a boat and cruise from our hotel, and we jumped in a tuk-tuk, and it was 150 baht, and it was about 20 minutes. And I thought, that wasn't too expensive for a 20-minute tuk-tuk ride. And we got the taxi back from the Chai Prao River back to our hotel by taxi, 40 baht. So we don't do tuk-tuks anymore. We always do the taxis, because it's much cheaper to jump in a taxi than a tuk-tuk. So that's the reason why the tuk-tuks will never work in Jomtien or Pattaya. Hi Les, I'm staying in Jomtien for 3 weeks. I'm going to rent a bike for a few weeks. Is it far to your province? Would love to meet up with you at lunch one day, if at all possible. Steve from Yorkshire. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, but I would sooner, just for safety, if you're going to come up this direction, come by a taxi or a bus. You can get a minivan for about 250 baht from Pattaya or Jomtien up to Rayong. I used to do that motorbike ride from Pattaya to where I live, and it's not a nice road at all, especially on a motorbike, because there's lorries, there's potholes, there's God knows what. And as I say, I'd hate to think that anybody had an accident. And 80 kilometers on an hour on the scooter isn't much fun, especially if you hit a pothole or the lorries are weaving in and out. So it's 250 baht. My friend's going from Banpay to Pattaya with a Grab taxi, 550 baht. So if you use Grab or Uber, you can probably get to where I live for like 500 to 700 baht, 1400 baht round trip. So that's the cheapest way of doing it, and that's what I suggest. On a motorbike, yeah, as soon as you didn't come on a motorbike, I wouldn't be happy riding a motorbike, and I've been riding a motorbike for 10 years living in Thailand. When can a Falang apply for a Thai bank account? Is it either marriage visa is complete or no? You can apply for a Thai bank account even on a tourist visa. But applying for a Thai bank account is more and more difficult now because of the Ruskies for money laundering and things like that. So it's best to use an agent. An agent can open up a bank account for you the same day, and that's about 4,500 to 5,000 baht to get a bank account opened. There are still some people who will say you can do it yourself, but it's a bit of like a chicken and egg scenario. You can't get a visa without a bank account. You can't get a bank account without a visa. So I always recommend people to go use an agent, and they'll do it for you. But you still need to have at least 28 days on your tourist visa before you can open a bank account as well. It's not as easy as it used to be years ago. It's a lot more difficult. But an agent smooths all of that out for you, and it's worth it, I think. Rather than, there's one guy I know who went to 20 different banks around Pattaya because determined he didn't want to pay any agents any money, and he ended up paying an agent. Hi Les, before leaving to live in Thailand, we'll need to deposit some savings into a high interest UK account. Will there be a problem? I'm okay with the current account. It's just the savings. No, you put your money wherever you want to put it. There's no problem with that. It's your money at the end of the day. All you need is some money to live on over here. Again, as long as you use TransferWise to transfer money from your country, the UK, over to Thailand, it's £7 or £8 for £1,400 a month that I get sent over. So it's not expensive. Not sure about Australia, but the English state pension can be paid into the UK bank account and then transferred to Thailand. Unfortunately, it will be frozen to what it is. Yeah, when you first claim it, it's frozen at that rate. And it's not worth, there's many people say, I'll live with my sisters, live with my uncles, live with my brothers, blah, blah, blah. But when all said and done, because of the internet and things like that and the passport, they will know where you are. And the government being the government, trying to, stop every single penny going out that shouldn't be going out. If they find out that you've been living in Thailand for a number of years, then that can be classed as fraud. And then they can take as much money back in either one go, or they can do it monthly or something like that. But then you have a criminal record because it's classed as fraud. So is it worth it, having all of that trouble? Just suck it up and see. But that's what I would say. I wouldn't say cheat the system, because if you cheat the system and you get caught, the penalties are quite severe. Les, it's still 10 baht for a baht bus in Pattaya. Wow. So somebody was telling me it's got up to 20 baht, but it's been 10 baht for as long as I know it. So it's got to go up one day, doesn't it? And 20 baht is nothing. Les, can you still pay into a UK ISA if you're living in Thailand? I have no idea. I can't see any reasons why you can't do that. Found the Bolt taxis really cheap in Pattaya, and you can get them to pick you up anywhere. Yeah, again, there's a couple of people I know that use Bolt taxis, and just, I said, my friend showed me his Bolt taxi from Banpay to Pattaya, and it was like 550 baht, just so cheap. Even the taxi drivers wouldn't do it for that price, that in Banpay, because he showed the taxi driver, he said, "You do it for this price?" He said, no. So 550 baht. I mean, it varies at different times of day as well, on the evening or on the morning. You just have a look at it. If you like the price, then go for it. But the taxi drivers here were a minimum of 1,000 baht to go to Pattaya. Normally around 1,500. This is what they're asked, but they will come down to a minimum of 1,000 baht before they even took it to Pattaya. Do you compost your food waste? We don't have any food waste. No, we throw it all in the bin. Any food scraps, things like that, always goes in the bin, because we put it in the bin. Otherwise, you'll have a load of ants around your bin in the morning. Was lucky to get a bank account myself, but deposits on the bank, some just won't entertain you. This was 3 years ago, apparently. Yeah, it is. It's almost impossible now. Hi Dan, sometimes stream on other people's accounts. I'm on Kick sometimes. Can you get Bolt from Bangkok Airport to Pattaya? I don't think so, no. But the bus that leaves the Bangkok Airport to Pattaya is, I think, 120 or 140 baht, and you get that where the taxis are. So that's what I did. It was actually cheaper for me to catch the bus, which runs almost every hour up until 10 o'clock on the evening. 120, 140 baht, and I stayed in a hotel 100 meters away from the bus stop, and then I got my friend to pick us up the following morning. So it's much cheaper to do it that way, because when I come back from anywhere, like when I came back from England, I always stay in the hotel just to get my feet back on the ground again, if you like, because you're going to be tired. And then by doing that, it was cheaper for me to do that, to go to Pattaya, stop in a hotel, and then my friend picked me up the following morning, than getting him to drive all the way to Bangkok. Swings and roundabouts, really. For a taxi from the airport, again, that's about 1,500 baht to get to Pattaya from the airport. But the bus is cheap as chips, and it's not much slower than the taxi. So look, I'm due to retire next month on a UK pension. If I wanted to live in Thailand full time, do I have to apply for a visa? If you've never been to Thailand before, I'd just come on a retirement. I'd just come on the visa exempt, where you get 60 days and then you extend it for another 30 days, which gives you 90 days. You do a border run, Cambodia, and there's plenty of places that offer the border runs. It's not much money. And then you can come back in again on another 60-day visa with a 30-day extension. So that's 180 days that you can have without applying for any visa. And that's just, I think, 1,900 baht you'd have to pay to come back into the country, and 1,900 baht to do your visa run. So it's not expensive. But then if you like it, then you can do the retirement visa as long as you're over 50 years old and you meet the qualifications. So yeah, it's not expensive to do it. Got a bank account very easily. The second bank I went to gave me one. Oh, non-OA. Oh, well, there you go. I've not met one person yet that got a bank account straight away. I got a Thai bank account on a tourist visa. That must have been some years ago, because they don't do it on a tourist visa now. How safe would you say Thailand is for a man of your age? I would say it's very, very safe. In fact, it's the safest country I've ever been in or lived in. Crime rate is very, very low. Again, I've just did a video walking around Bangkok. no problem whatsoever. Didn't feel intimidated, didn't feel threatened. Nice people. But it's like every city, you know, there's good areas in every city, but as long as you stick to the tourist locations, things like that, you've got no problems. And it's very safe. I found Thailand is very, very safe to be. The crime, the punishment for crime here is very severe, is why the crime rate is low. The don't namby-pamby people around here. There's like 40 or 50 people to a cell in Thailand. So you don't get your own cell with your colour TV and your 3 meals a day, something like that. It's a very tough life living in a Thai prison over here. So that's why the crime rate is very low, because the punishment is so severe. So yeah, don't worry about it. Crime is very, very low here. That's wonderful to hear. I'm from Birmingham and I'm 32, so often worry about my mom and dad, and that's where they're driving. It's a wonderful place, Thailand. It's very, very safe and good. Good bus service from door 8, Bangkok Airport. Yeah, the bus is very, very safe and very cheap. Air conditioning bus as well, so it's lovely. An article saying the UK are going to get banks to give out information about anyone they think are using a UK address as a state. Yeah, again, this is going to happen. It's going to happen without a doubt. Because you think of all the pensioners that are living abroad. There's 500,000 pensioners are not getting the increase, and the government are not going to alter it. I wrote a petition, or signed a petition asking them to change it, and I got which is what I'm going to do on the video that I'm going to do about they have no plans to change the ruling. It's a 70-year-old ruling, and they're not going to change it, and I can't see the Labour going to change it either for any reason whatsoever. If it means them giving more money out, they're not going to change it either. If you can pay into UK ISA, if you are a UK resident, if you are not, you can keep open an ISA. That was open. Yeah, again, ISAs. I don't have the money to put into ISAs. I spend all my money. Koh Samui is so safe to keep your counsel. You're totally safe. If you're a barstool warrior anywhere in the world, keep your guard up. That's the world. Yeah. Barstool warriors are everywhere. I walked through Bangkok at 2 o'clock in the morning and wouldn't want to do that in the UK. Same as me. I live in Redcar. There's places I wouldn't walk around after midnight in Redcar. My wife is always worried about people in Thailand on drugs. No drugs. It happens. It happens everywhere, no matter where you are. But in reality, I can't see any, apart from drunken fights and things like that. And it's more foreigners fighting with each other than Thais. I've never seen 2 or 3 Thais people fighting or everything. Drugs is everywhere. You can't get over it. But on the whole, again, it's safe. I've never ever felt threatened. I've walked around Patty at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, slightly inebriated, bumping into all the shutter doors and things like that, and I've never had a problem. Never ever been mugged by anybody. I was a policeman, took 1,800 baht from my wallet. That's the only tea money that I've ever paid to the police in the 12 years that I've lived here. 1,800 baht. Everything else, I've been fined for having no tax or no insurance because I didn't have the paperwork with me, but that's acceptable. But the guy that robbed me of 1,800 was a policeman, a motorway patrol officer, and that's the only time I've ever been mugged off the police. Anybody else, I've never lost anything. So yeah, it's like everywhere else. You've got to look out. if you walk around with your gold, dripping around with the gold and your expensive watches and things like that, you can be targeted. But that's any big city also. So 1,200 for Savannah Pound patio, including tolls. Oh, well, yeah, 1,200. Yeah, it's 1,000 to 1,500 baht. But taxis, from the airport are pretty safe. Yeah. Traveling from A to B is very, very cheap here in Thailand. You can't complain about that. $5. $5 here. So we've got 122 in the house. And we've got 87 thumbs up. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. So I did a vlog or video. Funny enough, Hua Hin is super safe. Same with Jomtien, Samui, Phuket, and the capital, especially for a male. Heck, bar girls walk home at 2:30 a.m. scantily clad. This doesn't bother them. Hua Hin, I've just come back from Hua Hin. I did a thing on assisted living or assisted houses in Hua Hin. So we spent 2 days in Hua Hin. It's a lovely spot. I like Hua Hin. It's sort of more cosmopolitan and upmarket. The street markets or the walking streets market, and there's another entertainment zone as well, which has got live music on and numerous food outlets, which is just beautiful. It was reasonably priced. The houses for assisted living that I went to see there were about 3.7 million baht, and you have 24-hour care, and there's ways and means of being able to buy them even as a foreigner. You can get like a 90-year lease on it, what you're allowed to sell or pass on to your family and friends and things like that. Some of the comments that we had in the houses, it's a new development. There's about 130 odd houses are going to be built, and I think they built about 40 or 50 of them up to now. And then they've just decided to open up an assisted living resort, if you like, because there's another company, Sunshine International, that are very, very successful at doing this already, but they aim at the high spenders, and it does cost a lot of money to live in one of their properties. But the support and care is second to none, that's for sure. So this other estate has decided to move down a little bit market, because there's still a market for not so wealthy people, if you like. And they provide the same service, and you get a 3.5 or 3.7 million baht house, which is about £83,000, and you get 24-hour care, and they're building a clubhouse, a swimming pool, spa, coffee shop, things like that. And they're going to adapt the houses to more old people friendly, if you like. So that's a new venture for them. And that video got a lot of views. It's got 15,000 people have watched it. So it's good for people to watch it. You get a lot of money. You get a lot of property for your money over here. And I would say for anybody, if anybody's going to buy anything or do anything over here, go and get lawyers' advice to make sure you're 100% aware of what you're signing up to. But buying a house over here isn't the same it is in the Western countries. It's done on a leasehold. And I quite like the fact that Thailand will always belong to Thailand. Unlike our country, England. England belongs to many foreigners, and the British people don't even own half of it. It all belongs to foreigners. And that's what I like about Thailand. That's why Thailand is still affordable to buy things here, because they keep the prices low for Thai people to be able to afford it. So yeah, it's a different way of buying houses or buying property here, but it is more affordable, and you get a better choice, and you get a lot more for your money. Let's face it, could you have a 3-bedroom detached house, 129 square meters, I think it is, the size of the house, for £83,000? And it's not council tax, it's like community charge at about 60 quid a month, for keeping up all the grass cutting and the roads, keep it all nice and clean. and to have 24 hours a day nurses on call, emergency call. Fantastic value. So, and that's Wahin. And Sunshine International, which is the other one, he's just opened up a prestige resort in another one in Wahin. I think he's got 70 apartments and something like 50 odd houses, a massive development. And when I was talking to Andrew a couple of months or so ago, and he said 70% of it is sold already. So such is the affordability that 70% of a development to be sold before it's even completed is very good going. So have a look at that video. It's only a couple of videos ago, 15,000 views. It's worth looking at it, and it gives you some examples of what you get for your money. Yeah, I've seen the Thai vendors leave their cart for food walk to the restroom, and no one bothered to steal. Yeah, again, it's just theft. People, if somebody stole something, everybody just look and see what's going on. Hi, I discovered your channel a few months ago and enjoy it. Was considering the Philippines but to retire, but with all the typhoons, now I'm thinking Thailand. Have you experienced bad weather in Hua Hin? Not in Hua Hin. I mean, we live 6 hours away from Hua Hin, but Thailand doesn't suffer bad weather like the Philippines does. It gets windy days, it gets thunderstorms like everything else, and there has been some flooding in Thailand this year, which is again not the norm. To the amount of flooding that's happened, certainly in Chiang Mai, that's, I mean, a 30-year event or something like that. But the world is changing, all around the world, strange events with the weather is happening. So Thailand, why should it be any different? But on the whole, Hua Hin, I think, is a very safe and secure place to live, both weather-wise and crime-wise, for sure. In fact, Hua Hin is the king has his holiday home there, so that's why it's sort of well protected and well upmarket, if you like. Were you ever mugged in Redcar or the UK? I was attacked in a phone box when I was about 17 or 18-year-old. I was in a public phone box, and two young lads came in and robbed me of my wallet. But that was a lot of years ago. But I've been threatened by a few people, more so in the fire service, that they were going to come round and sort me out because I was throwing their scrap metal all over the place because I was frustrated. We'd been out to this fire several times during the night. So I just threw all the metal, and there were gypsies, and they threatened to come round and kill me and kill my wife and kids because I was throwing their scrap metal that they didn't know who we belonged to. I was throwing it all over the field. So no, fortunately, I've never suffered many of them things. He doesn't live in Hua Hin. Yeah, I live in Rayong, which is about 6 hours away from Hua Hin. Thailand adopted Trump's tariff policy with the car imports years ago. Let's see what Trump does now. I was told that if Trump got into power, the pound would rise against the baht, and it did. So let's hope this rise continues. Before Trump got elected, it was 43, and now it's 44. So like 1,400 baht makes a big difference. So that's about 30 quid since he's come in. So I'll take the £30. Thank you very much, Donald Trump. How much a year does it cost to live there for upkeep and doctors? Again, well, how long's a piece of string, really? I've got to say, it's much cheaper to live here. My medical insurance cost me 25,000 baht a year, which is about 600 quid a year for 700,000 bahts worth of cover. Any doctor's fees, if you go and see the doctor, it might be a tenner to go and see a doctor, but it's not expensive. It sounds great, and I have shown my Thai wife we are currently living in Australia, but I want to retire to Thailand. Again, I think Thailand isn't for everybody. There's a lot of people that I know who've left Thailand because it's too hot, especially in the hot season. But for me, it suits me. It ticks all my boxes. I'm happy living here. Does it get hot and sticky in the summer? Yes, it does. But for 3 months of the year, that's the most uncomfortable time. Like now, this is the cool season, and the temperature for me is perfect. And I can cope with it. 3 months of it being uncomfortably warm, better than the 6 months I spend in the UK being freezing cold, having to put jumpers on and things like that. Here we are now in November, and I'm sat outside. Look, I've got a shirt on. I've got the fan going on in the background. So I'd sooner be warm than being sat in front of an electric fire or a radiator. But that's me. But I understand Thailand can be too hot for some people sometimes. Already knows the cost of living. You understand that England has risk, so you live differently. Yeah, well, again, you cut your cloth to suit at the end of the day. What is the yearly cost for the house for two of us to retire that? Well, again, depending on the quality of the house, you location. If you want to live in Phuket, you pay twice as much as what you live where I live in Rayong. Rayong for me isn't on the tourist map, but this house that I live in, this one there, when we rented it, I mean, we're buying it now, but when we rented it, it was 12,000 baht a month, so 250, 260 pounds a month. This house in Phuket would be double that price for sure. Rayong isn't on the tourist map, is why rent is cheap, food is cheap, and that's because it's not in a tourist location. But we also have beautiful beaches here. We have Koh Samet, which is 30 minutes away from where we live, one of the most beautiful tropical islands in Thailand, with white sand beaches, one of the top 10 whitest beaches in the world, and that's on our doorstep. But because Rayong isn't touristy, that's why everything's so cheap. But if you live in Koh Samui or Phuket, Krabi, things like that, expect to pay twice as much. Same with food and transport here. It's much, much cheaper to eat out in restaurants here than it is in Phuket. So I spent a whole year traveling around Thailand before I came to Rayong, and Rayong wasn't even on my map to stay. But the girlfriend that I had at the time knew a girl in Rayong, and she said, "Oh, she's married to an English guy." So I met a guy called Steve, who then said to me, "Well, if you give everywhere else 2 weeks to 4 weeks to live, give Rayong 2 weeks." And I stayed here for 2 weeks, and I've been here for 10 years. I lived in Jomtien, I lived in Pattaya for up to 2 years, but I've also lived in Chiang Mai, Pai, Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, Phuket, Krabi, Koh Samui, all beautiful places, but much, much, much more expensive than it is here. So we go on holiday to these places and you enjoy the beauty of it. But if you live there full time, the beautiful Koh Samui or Phuket, then it becomes the norm. Whereas we go there on holiday and it feels much better because you're going on in a holiday mood. I say we're going to a homestay tomorrow. It's only 25 minutes from where we live, but there's a group of 6 of us. So that's our social life. We're going there. It's got a swimming pool. We're just going to go there, park the car up, have a few beers, bit of chit chat all night, and just go to bed whenever we want. And that is 1,000 baht for the night to stay in a guest, well, not a guest house. It's a private room with ensuite facilities for 25 quid for the night. So there we can go and have a few beers, and we can go and get drunk, and we can talk and watch the world go by, and have a swimming pool as well. I was talking about the establishment estate that you have shown us earlier on your YouTube site. And thank you for your information, Cheese Mate. No problem. As I said, it's a good video to watch there. You know, there's another video I'm going to do with regard to ways you can finance this type of thing and why you would finance it. And there's ways of, let's face it, you know, if you've got a £300,000 house in the UK and you need to go into a care home, the government will take all of that money off the value of the house down to £23,500, because at £945 a week, just for the room only, that's without any care. And if you're getting care, it goes up. It can be like £2,000 a week if you've got dementia care 24-hour. So 2,000, 8,000. It doesn't take long to get down to 23,500 from £300,000. So by looking outside of the box, you could have dementia care by a qualified medical nurse staying with you for 24 hours a day for 40,000 baht a month, which is about just short of £900 a month. And then add on top of that, the house rental, £674 a month. So it's not even half the price what you'd pay in the UK. And you get better service, better quality. You get a 3-bedroomed house as opposed to a 1-room in a big building. So again, that'll come onto it. I'll do another video next week or something like that. I'm sort of 2 weeks behind in my videos already. I just haven't had time to do it because I've been working in the garden every day for the past 2 weeks. I've been doing something, and just one day gets into another. Even after this, I've still got to edit my keto video that I did, my keto Sunday. So for those who've just tuned in, I'm on my keto diet, and I've lost now 8 kilos. So I'm down to 103.6 today. But I've still got that video to do for my keto subscribers who want me to do the keto video. So I've gone down from 111 down to 103.6 in 6 weeks. So I'm over the moon with that. So again, for those people who followed me the keto, thanks very much for following me and for buying a few of my ebooks with regard to the keto. Is there any social club meetup events, expat pensioners from the UK in Thailand? Oh, there's loads. Again, especially that Hua Hin one, like hundreds and hundreds of expats live in that area. It's a huge estate, not just on that one development, but that area. There's lots and lots of expats who live there. Again, we're going on holiday tomorrow. We do a monthly away day type thing. We stop somewhere. And there's 6 of us going tomorrow just for the day. And that's our social events, because where I live, I'm sort of semi-rural. We don't have many bars around this area, and I'm not a bar person anyway. So once a month, a group of friends get together and we'll go and hire somewhere for 1 or 2 nights. And that's our social event. We have a brunch club every Thursday. Between 6 and 12 of us meet up for brunch for an hour, a couple of hours, put the world to right. We do that every Thursday. So yeah, you can have a good social lifestyle over here, and it's just good to come along. It's good to chew the fat with other, foreigners, Americans, Australians, Canadians, whatever. We've always got something to say. Isan is very cheap. Yeah, Isan is very cheap. Right up in the sticks, in the mountain areas. But I've always liked the coast. I was brought up by the coast, so I'd miss the sea if I ever moved up. But I've been up to Udon Thani, Isan area. My wife is from Karat. She's got a beautiful farm where she lives, but I would be the only foreigner in the village. And I don't think I could cope with that, being the only foreigner in the village. It's sort of very remote. So that's why we choose to buy this house. And we're going up to see the wife's family after New Year. So we're going to spend maybe 2 or 3 weeks up there. And she lives in a stunningly beautiful area. But I can cope with 1 or 2 weeks or something, but living there full time, I don't think I could cope with that. Thinking about coming back to Thailand, and at 77, can I get some old lady to look after me? Part-time, cleaning small apartment and in Minbury. Yeah, you can. Again, I don't know where Minbury is, but yes, you can certainly get the cleaner, somebody to take care, part-time cooking and things like that, for roughly 8 to 12,000 baht a month. You get somebody coming in 7 days a week, cooking and cleaning, taking care, and a gardener. You can get a gardener to do your gardening work if you've got a garden for about 500 baht a day. You can even get a driver a day. If you've got your own car, it's even cheaper. But if you need them to have their own car, between 500 and 1,000 baht a day. So if you're a good planner and you say, I want to go shopping on this particular day, you can get a driver. There's people I know that just have a driver man on call, and they give them a certain amount of money every month just to be on call. And when he comes, it's 500 baht, and he takes them shopping, takes them out to the cinema or wherever, waits for them, brings them back. So all of them type of things are available over here. And you can get not an old lady, but a young lady for about 8 to 10,000 baht a day. Yeah. I'm a bit afraid of younger women. Well, I mean, 30 to 40-year-old is not really an old woman, is she? But middle-aged. Is that camera ever going to refocus on you, Les? Is the camera out of... Okay, let me have a look. I don't know. Was that a bit blurry? I don't know. I'm sorry if it went blurry. I've just... Okay, is that any better? It's not a camera. I use my iPhone. So it's my iPhone that's doing it. I think I cleaned the lens before we started the conversation. What time is it now? We've been going for... Oh, that's a long time. 5:22. 2.5 hours we've been going. A long time. Oh, so look, morning, Les. Have you heard this morning about men here in the UK aged between 50 and 50 dying of strokes over the past 2 years? And apparently the numbers are off the chart. Wouldn't surprise me for anything, you know. But no, I haven't heard that. Sad to hear. Les Wahin versus Rayong. Pros and cons for you. I'm moving to Thailand in February and plan on traveling around like you did to find a base for myself. Thanks for all the great content. I've Wahin or where I live. I've got to choose Rayong where I live. My views, I know you can't see it on there, but my views here by sitting on this sofa, watching me coffee, laying on that hammock, beautiful rural views. It cost me a lot more money for this type of house in Wahin. Wahin has got lots of expats there, more than here. Lots of bars, lots of things going on, nighttime markets, things to do. 3 hours from Bangkok. But the traffic for me is bad. I don't like traffic. I don't like to be sitting in a traffic jam for like an hour to get from A to B. Whereas here, we don't have traffic jams. There's everything that I personally want here. A bit more entertainment on a nighttime in the area where we live would be good, like nighttime markets and things like that. But it is what it is. We go to such places to be entertained. Again, we, as a group of people, 1 day a month or 2 nights a month, we go and entertain ourselves, have a social events. But Wahin is nice. It is, it's probably one of the most busiest areas for multinationals of people from all over the world. You certainly wouldn't be lonely in Wahin. There's a big expat communities there, and reasonably priced as well, I think. So I still like Rayong, but it's nice to go to Wahin for a holiday every now and then. He seems to want to focus more on the background. Well, sorry about that. It might be the firmware. It did say before I put it on that it needs to be updated, so I'll have to do that before the next one. So sorry about that. But I've got some nice bushes in the background. Just found your channel, coming to Thailand, Pattaya next week. Oh well, Pattaya. Yeah, I did a couple of videos called the Pattaya Blues, and the majority of people that come to Pattaya, it's such an exciting, vibrant, happy place. Then you go home, then it's called the Pattaya Blues, because all you can think of is the good times that you've had over in Pattaya. It's awesome. A friend of mine who's just come from England, he spent 3 weeks here, and he's going to Pattaya next week for 3 or 4 days. And I said, maybe he's planning on going to a week in Pattaya. So I've told him the places to go, where to go, and what to look out for, and the approximate costs. So he's going to have a fantastic time next week. He goes there tomorrow. So he's looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to him when he comes back. It'll be like a rabbit in the headlights. But yeah, have a good time in Pattaya. Best wishes. I spent 7 years visiting Thailand. I think you need that time to find where is best place. Yeah, again, I traveled around for a year. I've lived here for 12 years in Thailand, and I love the place. Is there other places I'd like to live? One of the other places I'd like to live, and it's not like me to think about this, because I like the coast, but I also like Pai. Pai is one of the most magical, beautiful, stunningly beautiful places I've ever been to, and I've been around the world. I've visited many places, but Pai is on my list of places that I could live. It's stunningly beautiful. Just found out I've got a 10-year age gap between my lady. Was too scared for me to go more than that. Less problems if you don't push it. Well, age is just a number. I've heard people say so many times. My wife is 26 years younger than me, but my Chinese wife also was 26 years younger than me, but we got divorced. But me and my Thai wife, we hit it off, and we are a good match and a good couple, and we do many things together, and we both like the same things, which is good. And trust is a massive thing over here. If you don't trust the person that you're with, don't be with them. It's a listen, Les. Who cares about the focus? Stop it. All right, okay. What's the nightlife in the center of Rayong? I don't know. The center of Rayong, it's a city, so it isn't the same as. It's more Thai orientated. Rayong has got a big expat community, but it's spread well around. There's a big expat community of the Swedish, because there's a couple of Swedish villages, and there's maybe 30 or 40 houses in there, and majority of the houses are owned by Swedish people. So they come over here, they like it over here. So yeah, I mean, there's German, there's every nationality here. So even little old Banpei and Rayong area, there's still plenty of people you can sit and talk to. I've not been called a handsome man for many years. I just came across this video. Where is you live in Thailand? I live in Rayong, which is about 3 hours away from Bangkok, and an hour and 20 minutes away from Pattaya. Going to Chiang Mai as well. Yeah, I'm going to next month. We're off to Ban Rak Thai, which is really about 17 hours drive from where we live. Then we're going to Pai. Then we're going to Pai for Christmas, and then going to Chiang Mai for New Year. Let our lanterns off in Chiang Mai. Beautiful place, Chiang Mai. What do you like? 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 most about living there. Love the place, but I'm sure I couldn't live there for 12 years. Well, again, it's for me. I lived in Redcar. When I lived in Redcar for I was 11 years old when we moved from South Bank to Redcar. So Redcar was never the best place in the whole of England, but it was very close to some of the best places, like an hour, and we're at Whitby and Scarborough and the North York Moors, stunningly beautiful. We had many, many beautiful places within an hour or 2 hours drive from where we were in Redcar. But Redcar supported me because I got my job there. I worked in the steelworks, I worked in the fire brigade, so it supported my living there. And I would say Rayong is the same. It's not the best place to live in the whole of Thailand, but it's very, very affordable. And I'm only an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours away from some stunningly beautiful places, 3 hours away from Bangkok, an hour and a half away from Pattaya, three hours away from 3 hours away from Koh Chang, 30 minutes away from Koh Samet, and just so many stunningly beautiful places here. And the beach is a beach, and we have some beautiful beaches here. Food is nice here. The people are friendly here. That's what I like about the area that I live. It's not the best, most beautiful place in Thailand, but it suits me. And like everybody has a different idea or the location where they want to live. Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, stunningly beautiful, but they have their problems with the burning season where the pollution from the burning of the sugar cane makes life unbearable sometimes if you've got a chest infection or you suffer from lung infections and things like that. People move from Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai and Pai because of the burning season. And I don't have to do that here because the pollution levels here are more than okay. But it's like, find the place where you want to hang your hammock and just go for it. But it's also interesting driving around Thailand and looking for places where you want to stay. I'm just along the road from Rayong. Yeah, again, I've met many people that live in the surrounding areas. I hope you have a great time with your friends at your Airbnb. It's not an Airbnb. Wolfgang, the guy that I know, his wife knows the owners of this place. So we're going there. Again, it's only 25 minutes away from where we live. Last month, we went to another place, a homestay, and that was about 30 minutes away, down by the river. It was fantastic, even though we didn't do an awful lot, just relaxing and doing nothing on hammocks and just watching the world, live by the river, watching the fishermen go in and out. The girls cooked the barbecue for the food and things like that, and we had a few bottles of beer. It's just a totally different feeling, and it's nice to do it. And it's next month we're away for maybe it's 5 weeks in total of December. Christmas in Pai, I'm so looking forward to that because I love Pai, and New Year in Chiang Mai. So life is one big holiday for us now that we're retired, and I love it, and I'll never get sick of being retired. Work, no, I'd rather not. Although I do stuff in my own house, the gardening, that's not classed as work for me. I do my solar, I do my electrics, I help other people out. I meet people on YouTube all the time. I give advice to many people, suggestions and ways to solve various problems. So I've always got something to do, and I'm never ever bored. I've got to say, I've never ever been bored here in Thailand. But then if you've got something to do all the time, you can't be bored. And that's why I love living in Thailand, because it's an interesting place and many places you can go and see. Rayong will get busier in to come because at the moment the hidden gem, lovely beaches, will hardly anybody love them. Yeah, apparently the fast railway is coming through Rayong, and the minute that the railway gets to Rayong, that's when people will start coming into Rayong. And I agree, it's a lovely place. We have the Koh Samet is visited by Bangkokians because we're only 3 hours away from Bangkok, and it's the closest island, if you like, that the Bangkokians like. So, and the Chinese, there's loads and loads and loads of Chinese tours go to Koh Samet every day because there's loads and loads and loads of coaches. Right, question. I'm going to be in Bangkok for Christmas Day. What happens in Thailand on Christmas Day? Should I find a pommy pub for the day? It's like any other day, Christmas Day in Thailand. I would go to the pommy clubs, yeah, and you'll get a better Christmas event doing that. And I'm sure in Bangkok there's going to be plenty of pubs open up for Christmas Day. Christmas Day to the Thai people is just like every other day, but there are expat communities who make a big event of Christmas Day as well, with the Christmas dinner and the Christmas puddings and cakes and stuff like that. So, yeah, go and find the place for Christmas Day. I'll be sat on the beach. Well, no, I won't be sat on the beach Christmas Day. Usually we sit on the beach Christmas Day, but this time we'll be in Pai in the mountain views for Christmas Day. But we're going to Ban Rak Thai for the few days before we go to Pai. Ban Rak Thai is probably as far north as you can get, just right on the border of Burma. I hope you booked a hotel for the new year. Is this for the guy in Bangkok? You never, ever get problems with booking hotels. The supply and demand of hotels and things like that over here is just fabulous. You'll always get accommodation. Somebody's dog's not very happy. I've lived in Chiang Mai for 2 years. I'm ready to move somewhere. Not sure whether to go south or east. Prachuap Khara Khan versus Rayong. I'd go and have a look in both of them. As I said, what do you think about the burning season? Is that one of the reasons why you want to move from Chiang Mai? It puts many people off. Although it's quite a reasonably cheap place to live in Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai area, but the burning season puts so many people off. I sing Thailand's praises. I know I do, and that's what my channel is called, Retired and Living the Dream. And I've got to say, I think I am living the dream. I could never have even dreamt of the lifestyle that I've got now that I've got here. I'm 64 years old. I live in a beautiful tropical country. I don't worry about my bills. I don't worry about the cost of living crisis. I don't worry about crime. And to have all of them feelings where you don't have to worry about them things is a fantastic feeling in itself. And that's why I sing the praises of Thailand, because this is how I remember when I was a child, that you never ever had any problems. Mum and Dad used to go to work and make ends meet, and we always grew up poor. I lived in South Bank, which is not a very nice part of the UK. My mum and dad both worked, and my mum and dad brought me up with moral scruples and principles, and I've always lived by them. And I never ever thought I could live in a place like this, halfway around the world, far, far better lifestyle than I had when I was growing up as a child. And this is, by working, gives me the opportunity to be able to do this, and long may it last. I hope you never have it through petrochemical pollution. Well, where we live, we're 60 miles, well, so 60 kilometers away from the petrochemical industry. So that's quite a distance. But saying that, in Redcar, where I live, surrounded by petrochemical and steel industry, in the area, I'm 64-year-old, and I was surrounded by that for all my life. Rayong has a very big petrochemical industry. That's why Rayong is quite an affluent location, because the petrochemical and liquefied petroleum gas employs thousands and thousands of people. But Ban Chang maybe that's right on the doorstep of the chemical industry. But Rayong, where I live, towards the Klang district, 60 kilometers away, I think that's far enough away to be, I don't suffer anything pollution from them. Yeah, the motorcycle, the ride from Chiang Mai to Pai, 760 S-bends or, hairpin bends. It's a fantastic motorcycle road from Chiang Mai to Pai. It's brilliant. I'm halfway between Udon Thani and Sakham Nakhon, and the air was better there than Hua Hin during the burning season. Again, as I said, I can't comment on that because I don't know. I just hear people complaining about it all the time. Chiang Mai is great, but it's a bit samey after a few years so far from everywhere else. And yes, the burning together with the hot season is terrible. I used to have a hotel in Chiang Mai, and at 1 a.m. New Year's Day, people were still calling for a room. Worse than Bethlehem. 1 o'clock in the morning, people still, I think 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll be on the park bench or something like that, or just on the floor because it's still, I don't know, Chiang Mai, it does get nippy on the night time, doesn't it? Down to about 15 on the evening time. Do you miss your fellow Poms whinging and whining? No, because I've still got some Pommy friends over here, and they're still whinge and whine. IRPC is still refining oil. I don't know. Us Pommies are not happy. And yeah, everybody whinges about the weather, don't they? I try not to whinge at anything. I'm sort of a half full glass type of thing. Very little things annoy me or faze me type of thing. I'm usually tolerant to a big degree, and you have to learn tolerance over here because some of the people I talk to, are not tolerant. And they argue over anything. And, Thailand should be like this and Thailand should be like that. And Thailand should be just Thailand. It's you that has to change, not Thailand. Same with, I had one subscriber who said they should make it more easy for foreigners to live in Thailand. And he ticked all the boxes. He had the 800,000 baht in the bank. Financially wise, he was okay. And I said, it costs you 1,900 baht to get your visa every year. You don't have to have an agent. You don't have nothing. He said, yeah, but they should make it more simple. I said, well, how much more simple could they make it? He said, well, I don't want to do the 90-day reporting. Because if you do it online, it's 5 minutes. What easier place is there in the world and cheap place that you get your visa at 1,900 baht? And even if you don't have the 800,000 baht in the bank, if you have the 65,000 baht method every month, and let's face it, you need money to live on over here, it's still 1,900 baht a year for 15 minutes, 20 minutes in an immigration office. But some people this particular person just whinged about anything and everything. He whinges about the state of the dogs over here. There's so many soy dogs, things like that. He whinged about the people riding around with no helmets on. He just whinged about everything. So I stay away from negative people, and I've moved my distance away from him now because I can only deal with so much negativity, and it's just, I'll walk away from it, the person that's negative, because I'm a positive person. It is what it is. It's Thai law. It's their way that they live. If they want to drive around with no helmets on and pay the fine, let them do so. It's up to them, isn't it? And that's my attitude. Let live, whatever. It is what it is. Stop complaining and just get on with it. So anyway, on that, has anybody got any questions? Any more questions? Because we're coming up to 3 hours now and it's getting dark here now. So I haven't set my outside light up because I said it'd be about 3 hours. Hi Les, I watched your blog about the assisted living. Very interesting. I don't need it yet, but at age 63, but good to know. Thanks very much. I'm going to do another vlog as well about assisted living for buying the houses or renting the houses and things like that. And also my way of, because I live here, about what I'm going to cope with, because I've looked into this and I might get there one day where I need assistance and things like that. So I'm going to explain what I'm going to do living here and how much it's going to cost me. So that'll be another interesting vlog. And Mark, much appreciated. Thanks very much for the donation. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you very much. They reckon you can tell when a fight from London arrives in Australia is one with all the engines. Australia lets anybody in. No, it doesn't. It's Australia. You used to have to be a criminal to get in Australia, and now they won't let anybody in. Chiang Mai immigration started a 90-day drive, so it's much easier now. Well, here it's much more difficult because our immigration officer, she's not a very well likable person. I don't think I've heard anybody say anything nice about her. She's mean, mother, whatever. Don't go to another country and tell people how to live. Exactly. The rule, yeah, exactly. I'd agree with that 100%. But this guy just went over and above. Why he still lives here, I don't know. When you're next in Redcar, or a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, I think, before. Thankfully, my sister is on the road to recovery. She's having chemotherapy now, and she's not too bad with it, but it's bad enough. Yeah, thanks very much. Hope your sister's on the mend. Thankfully, she is. She's had the operation, so chemotherapy now for till Christmas, and then radiotherapy if needed. I was in the Park Hotel Sunday, Redcar. Yeah, me and my friend went to the Park Hotel, and we had a Parmo as our parting meal before I left. Good to hear your views about the transition, selling everything, leaving everything behind and starting from nothing. Again, it can be done. 2 suitcases and you can move anywhere in the world. So anyway, I'm going to go at that because now I'm getting dark. It's very, very dark and I haven't got the lighting on, so I'm sorry about that. So 2 hours, 57 minutes. Thank you very much for all those people that have joined. Thanks very much for the donation, Mark. Much appreciated. That's certainly a few cups of coffee. Just bought the air fryer, but well, good luck on that. And I'm going to go edit my video now for the Keto Diet. Thanks very much for everybody that follows me. Thank you very much for the conversation. Without you, it wouldn't be worth it. And it's another 3-hour marathon session. So thanks very much, everybody. Bye for now.